This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Hey everyone, I do want to reiterate that there should be no children on this channel. It is adult true crime channel. Please, if you're a child, leave this channel immediately. This is going to be hard things to talk about today. It's well-known case. There's children, minors involved, so it's going to be hard to talk about. Not as hard as it was yesterday, but still a hard case. I want to say hey real quick. Hey Jenny and Hio and Bad Girl and Sarah and Toxic. I hope y'all are all doing okay. Because this is going to be a hard subject, I'm going to start with somewhat of a funny video. And then we will get into it. This has to do with Hollywood. Obviously, it's hard because a lot of these people that are victims of theirs just want to make music and, become a star like people do. And they end up getting used and hurt and just horrible things.
Robert De Niro.
That's the P. Diddy list. All right. So we're going to start with a funny video. I might get in trouble for the music. So if this part is cut out of the replay, that's why. Y'all, I don't even know what y'all are talking about after Discord last night. I don't even know. Oh, Lordy. All right. So this is titled POV, Don't Use Baby Oil or Vaseline Near a Mirror in the Bathroom. I'll play it a couple of times. You have to watch over his shoulder where you see the Diddy head right now. And I'll play it twice. This is for a laugh before we get into the hard topics. Hey, indie girl. Did y'all catch it? I'm going to play it one more time. Watch his shoulder. He picked up the Vaseline and then somebody pops out behind his shoulder. Oh, hold on. Watch his shoulder. Soon as he grabs that Vaseline, Diddy pops. Alrighty. So, yeah, it was funny. Yeah, last night in Discord.
When I was there, it was horrible.
So, I've got a playlist set up with, lots of stuff. Oh, I just left my playlist. And we'll go through it. If I disappear, it's because I got in trouble for playing a video, and I'll be right back. For those of you that don't know, I was in Discord last night, and I was, again, there should be no children here, but what we were talking about in Discord, I said I'm sitting here crocheting, and I was trying to say torturing myself because I was listening to just stuff. I was hate watching, to be accurate. And instead of saying torturing, my phone said touching. So it looked like I said I was crocheting and touching myself. And so we've been having a laugh about that. And that's what the whole Discord thing is. Hey, Solistic Glow. Thank you for being here. Yeah, the diddler. Diddy the diddler. All right. So again, this is a hard topic to talk about. Now we're going to get serious for a minute. Trying to figure out which one to start with. So we'll start with the allegations against Jay-Z by Vinnie Politan Investigates, and it's from yesterday. Yeah, they woke up this morning and saw that I typed it. I was like, oh my lordy.
By a waitress, the plaintiff.
Okay, so this is Court TV. This is going to be Vinnie Politan Investigates, and it's talking about the accusations against Jay-Z and Diddy. So if you don't know, Jay-Z has now got a lawsuit against him as well. I'll mute his music. And it just really sucks because a lot of these people, like I said, they're just trying to make it with the music they make, and they go to these places thinking they have to in order to try to, have a record and a career, and they end up getting used and abused by these people because these people hold positions of power, and it's horrible.
I'm Vinnie Politan. The subject of my investigation is the continuing scandal that is rocking the world of hip-hop. P. Diddy is locked up accused of a series of sex crimes, and now another one of the legends of hip-hop has been accused of inappropriate sexual conduct in a civil suit. Jay-Z. Here's the story. The entertainment world was taken by surprise when one of the biggest stars in the world of hip-hop was arrested and charged with a series of offenses, including kidnapping, sex trafficking, and RICO.
Now, I think that all of that came out because of Cassie. Cassie finally got the courage to leave him, and she basically told of everything that was going on. And now a lot of Hollywood is, up in arms because P. Diddy is like the Epstein of the music industry. He became Epstein after Epstein, and now they're going after Jay-Z. And I can't play Jaguar right, but I don't know if you ever watched Jaguar right. But she does an interview on, I think it's Real Life Productions, and she said that they're going to get Jay-Z next like 2 or 3 years ago, and now here we are. Like she does that a lot. If you guys haven't ever checked her out and you're interested in this stuff, definitely check her out at Real Life Productions, and there's a couple more she does. She's really smart.
P. Diddy was first civilly sued, then criminally charged in New York. He's now locked.
Rubber, hey, I wanted to say hey to you in case I didn't. And yeah, Jaguar, right. She sang a song. I've always liked her too.
Up facing the potential of life behind bars. Meanwhile, the number of civil suits Diddy is facing continues to grow, but some of those cases include other unnamed celebrity defendants. And now one of them has been named, and he's bigger than Diddy.
I do also have a list that will play after this. It's supposed to be Diddy's list. So we'll look at that. It's a short, and he just tells the names that are on the list, which, he had these white parties and all the celebrities would be there. And the baby oil reference or Vaseline that we just saw is in the charges that were filed, which I went through in a previous live right when I started my channel. There was 1,000 bottles of baby oil was one of the things that had to be at his hotel party, and hotel parties and lube. And like my husband and I were talking about it, and I was like, even with 1,000 people, why do you need 1,000 bottles of baby oil? And the only thing we could come up with was maybe he had like a pool and girls wrestling in baby oil or something. I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like, even if you're using it for, that kind of thing, like a lubricant, like they had lubricant too, you know what I mean? So if you were doing that with it, like 1,000 bottles, goodness. Hey, Sarah Lee, thank you for being here.
Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z, has been accused of committing the sexual assault of a minor with Diddy. Jay-Z has denied the allegations, but everyone is wondering, are there more accusers? And will more celebrities be named?
Sarah said it was drugged. What, the baby oil? What do you know about that? Like, why would they drug it? And what, like, because you're not going to ingest the baby oil, I don't think.
The story and scandal that seems to be spiraling out of control, with A-listers accused of engaging in vile acts. It's a story that could completely change the landscape of hip-hop and the world of celebrity. Every time I do this story, it's shocking, but today, even more shocking. Now we are talking about Jay-Z. No criminal allegations. It's a civil lawsuit that has been filed. That goes.
Sarah Lee said there's an interview with a girl that went to a Diddy party on Soft White Underbelly's channel. It's good. You guys can check that out. I don't watch Soft White Underbelly. He interviewed a 13-year-old girl that was a lady of the night and showed her nipples on stage. Like, I actually saw it. You could see it through her shirt, and like, he redacted it later. But he's also done interviews with an inbred family up in West Virginia, and while that might be interesting, that's what he built his channel off of, and I just don't agree with it personally, but that sounds really interesting, and I'm sure that it's probably accurate if he's putting it out. So you guys definitely go check that out, and thank you for letting me know, Sarah. I appreciate it. So the other Sarah said absorbing it. So do you know what drug they put into it that like absorb in your body? I mean, the only thing I could think of would be like cocaine, because if you touch cocaine, it can absorb through your fingers. Rubber said they put GHB in it and it absorbed through the skin. Okay, I don't know. I can't think of what GHB is off the top of my head. I don't think it was drug because oil will not absorb into the skin like other liquids will. Good point, Sarah Lee. It's that girl's mother that went to a Diddy party, Indy? Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, the one who went to okay. Interesting.
It goes back in time. But I want to read for you some excerpts from Jay-Z's response to this suit, which was posted on Rock Nation's Facebook page. Take a look. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. It made me watch to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these type of games. We have very strict codes of honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I'm looking forward to showing you just how different I am.
I had not heard that. That's interesting. Do I believe it? No. The only reason I don't, though, is because of Jaguar Wright and everything she said. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to play this. I'm reading your comments, though. Thank you for explaining.
Powerful words from Jay-Z. Not the normal response that you get in a situation like this. It seemed very personal. Didn't seem like it was crafted by an attorney, I'll tell you that. So this brings us to the first question in our investigation.
Thank y'all for spelling that out for me. Sometimes I don't understand. So thank y'all for letting me know.
Which is, what are the allegations against Jay-Z? That was his response. So what are the allegations against Jay-Z? And helping us analyze all this tonight, senior news reporter at the New York Post, Steve Helling, and actor, writer, media personality, Headcrack, also with us. Thank you both for being here. I want to go through.
Maybe if the oil won't absorb, what's in the oil might still absorb, especially like, I mean, I know you referenced castor oil. I don't know. I was going to say, especially if it's in the colon, but I don't know. I would think at least the drug that was in it would probably absorb. But I don't know. Toxic said Jaguar Knight or Right. Nasty even alluded one-eyed Lisa's death was, Lisa Left Eye Lopez was caused by these people, if I remember correctly. Same with Aaliyah. Yes, she did. And there's always been a lot of questions, especially with Aaliyah, as far as people causing their deaths.
A little bit of these allegations. September 7th is the date. 2000, at a VMA after party. Then 13-year-old plaintiff was invited by a limousine driver who said she, quote, fit what Diddy was looking for. Recognized many celebrities at the party, observed marijuana and cocaine use, began to feel woozy and lightheaded after drinking some of the beverages given to her by a waitress. The plaintiff entered an empty bedroom to lie down for a moment. The room contained only a large bed, no other furniture.
Hey, Catherine, thank you for being here.
Now, let's get to some of the lawsuit allegations, and I'm going to read some quotes from the lawsuit. Soon after, Combs entered the room along with defendant Carter and a female celebrity, Celebrity B. Carter is Jay-Z. Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." Combs then threw the plaintiff toward a wall, causing plaintiff to fall. Plaintiff got up and stumbled, at which point Combs grabbed her again and threw her on the bed.
God. Hey, Content Angel. Sarah Lee said that Lisa Left Eye Lopez's death was caught on tape. It was a car accident. To that, I would say it still could be possible if you think about Princess Diana and how they caused that car wreck, supposedly, you know. Aaliyah, I think, was definitely done under by them. Beyonce and Jay-Z, not to mention so many people forced out of making music and getting nervousness. They beat Beyonce for awards all quick to praise her. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot going on with Beyonce. And then Content said, nothing else in the room but a bed sounds like a temple on the yearning for Zion Ranch. Oh, yeah. That case, I've looked a lot into that case. That case is disturbing with Warren Jeffs.
At that point, Carter began removing plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. Plaintiff was held down by Carter as he vaginally raped her while Combs and Celebrity B watched. After Carter finished, he stepped back toward the wall. Combs then stepped forward and vaginally raped plaintiff while Carter and Celebrity B watched. This is raw. This is vile. These are allegations. He's denying all of it. Diddy is denying all of this. But let me start with you, Head Crack. Just your reaction that we are now.
Hello, Vincent Gordon. Thank you for being here. The Beehive is not here, unfortunately. You can find them on YouTube, though. Sarah said, now in Lisa's case, she was distracted and wrecked the vehicle. Everyone else in the vehicle lived except her. There's no way that could have been set up. She was just distracted. She had a lot going on. It's possible. I still think, it's possible either way. You'd be surprised at some of the things that happen. I heard about somebody high up in the military and was driving a car through the Hollywood Hills, and all of a sudden his car went to like 120 miles an hour through roads that you can't drive 120 miles an hour through, and he couldn't stop the car and he died. So I think they can mess with all kinds of things, especially money. That's the thing. You got all this money in the world, you can make things happen.
Now talking about allegations against Jay-Z.
Yeah, real quick. Toxic says, I'll be in and out for those interested. They have loads of victims' documents for this case over in As the Gavel Drops. That's As the Gavel Drops Discord. If you guys would like to read over the documents and go check those out, they are there.
I was blown away when I first heard the allegations, and the more and more I lean into it, it just seems a little bit ridiculous. If you watch the psychological profile of Jay-Z, how he moves, he always distances himself from chaos and chaotic people. Now granted, you're showing mad pictures with him with P. Diddy right here. However, they are part of a money-making hip-hop trifecta, that sometimes includes 50 Cent in that dynamic. But even 50 distanced himself from all of that. And I have a hard time believing that Jay-Z would put himself in that position. I really do.
Steve Helling, how about your reaction to the response from Jay-Z? It's an unusual response, right? We've covered stories like this through the years. It's rare that you get a response like that posted. on Facebook.
I was really surprised that he didn't go through his lawyers. I'm really surprised that he didn't do something much more formal. But he was obviously angry. He was obviously pissed off. He obviously just wanted to say, no, I didn't do this, and this is why. And, you know, you messed with the wrong guy. I get why he did it, and I think it was effective, to be perfectly honest.
Let's listen to, I'm going to put up on the screen more of the lawsuits. Again, these are excerpts from the civil lawsuit. These are not criminal.
Hey, Cara, thank you for being here. The beehive that Vincent was talking about earlier is Beyonce followers. I didn't know they were called that. Catherine said, do the thing, we will get the names of celebrities in connections with this. Yeah, I have a short to play at the end of this. I'll play it. Where he tells the list of names of other celebrities.
Charges. Combs then knocked plaintiff down and attempted to force plaintiff to perform oral sex on him. She fought back, standing up quickly and punching out at the same time, hitting Combs in the neck. Taken aback, Combs stopped his attempt. When Combs backed away in surprise, plaintiff grabbed her clothes and shoes and ran out of the bedroom, holding her dress in front of her like a towel. She ran around the residence until she found the front door and was able to leave the party. Although there were other guests still at the party, no one appeared to take notice of plaintiff's distress or attempted to help her. Ed Crack, how about your thoughts about the story itself? Now, the allegation is underage, like 13 years old, and is first scooped up by a limo driver.
Which also sounds wild in itself. I mean, listen, I don't know if you have any daughters. I only have sons, but if I had a daughter, I definitely wouldn't allow her to go to a MTV VMA after party or even be in that area. And for what I understand also too, in the statement that was given, it was her father that actually picked her up after she made a call when everything was all said and done. I don't know how most dads out there operate, but I will tell you one thing. If you violate my baby girl in any way whatsoever, it's going to be me that's behind bars in that situation. And I'm not going to wait 20 plus years to say something about it. And
But these people, I would say to that, these people sign non-disclosure agreements. They're paid hush money. You know, if she thought his daughter was going to make it and become popular and make lots of money, he might not. I'm not that type of person. I'm come in there and, you know, it's going to be game over. But some people aren't like that.
And do a civil suit. I'm going to do a criminal suit if that really truly happened. So the order of event, it just sounds cuckoo-ca-choo. And even the way how Tony Busby goes about getting some of his clients, this is the same lawyer that put up the 1-800 number, right? Like, if you've been a victim of a Diddy party, call this number. And okay, you're going to vet through some of those things, maybe push away the super outlandish ones. But not all those people that call those hotlines truly had something happen to them and have something to say. You see this happening all the time. Like, hey, if you've seen somebody, you know, if you witness this crime, call this number, and you get all these tips from people that lead nowhere and just tie up time. This could be one of those situations. I just find it hard to fathom.
Steve Helling, do you think the reaction is different for Jay-Z in this first allegation as it was for Diddy and the first allegation against him?
I think right now, hearing this, that the reactions were different because Jay-Z had time to prepare, whereas Diddy, I don't think he knew as much ahead of time. He did say cuckoo-ca-choo. Yep, where there's smoke, there's fire, bad girl, absolutely.
And we know the way the Diddy thing has now played out. What are your thoughts there, Steve?
Yeah, I do think it's different, and I think it's different mostly because, you know, we weren't very surprised to hear a lot of these allegations against Diddy. That's just kind of what we figured was going on. Jay-Z has managed to be much more clean-cut, much more above board, and I think the idea that he's being named in this is really shocking, especially when you figure that he's married to Beyonce. He's got these daughters now. He's got kids. So putting it all together, I think it's really surprising that his name is out there in this fashion. And kind of to echo what Headcrack said, I also feel like this isn't what we know about him. He's not a chaotic person. He's not somebody who thrives in that type of environment. So the idea that in 2000 he was doing this, it's a lot to swallow.
But he was really close with Diddy, and he went to his parties a lot. I think Jay-Z is more calculated, though, because he's from Brooklyn. He's from the street, so he's more street smart. And I think that he's going to do things a little bit more quietly or hush-hush behind the scenes, as opposed to Diddy, who is a narcissist and loves attention, so it makes it different. He's going to be very much more open about his crimes, because he doesn't care who sees, who says anything. He don't care. He'll just take care of it.
Yeah, Headcrack, let's follow up on that. Let's go back to 2000. And we know where, Beyonce and Jay-Z are now, how they're revered and respected by many as sort of icons in the business. Let's go back to 2000. Where
Cara said Jay-Z had time to prepare, and I think he's trying to make himself look like the victim because his daughter is the age where she could search this on her own, and he's more looking to protect. Very possible and great point.
Where was Jay-Z at that moment in time in the world of hip hop, in the world of A-list celebrity?
A rapidly rising star. I mean, you go from his first album, Reasonable Doubt, 96, then you come through with In My Lifetime, Volume 1. So by 2000, I think he had In My Lifetime, Volume 2 out, Hard Knock Life, big records on there, getting ready to release the third one, The Dynasty, which I believe came out around that time. So definitely a big name, but, by no stretch of the imagination was he completely an angel during his pocket of time, because he did get into a situation where he stabbed the dude over bootlegging some music. So, I mean, that it comes with the territory of that pocket of time. You know what I mean?
I have heard of that, Sarah Lee. Yeah, Diddy and Jay-Z do seem like brothers from another mother.
How much power and influence at that moment did he have in terms of the business and celebrity? Was it how would you sort of define that or describe that?
Even in 2000, Jay-Z was one of the biggest names in hip hop. You know what I mean? This is like right before he was about to do that head-to-head clash with Nas, that ran for a couple of years, and it got a lot of great records back and forth on that. I mean, Jay-Z's been a Titan since 1999, arguably like 97. You know what I mean? Well, with the passing of Big. When Big passed, it left a wide open lane. Jay-Z slid right in there, took the torch that, they lit together and kept running.
And if we go back in time, then was the reputation there at that moment about these parties as well?
Have you heard that Diddy had, I think it was Biggie, and there's rumor that he set up Tupac as well, because that one Crip is going down for it, but he was hollering that Diddy did it, I do believe, if I remember correctly.
And we did get Steve back. Steve, I'll go to you on that. Historically, like back in 2000, was that reputation there about these wild parties?
I went to a few Diddy parties back in the day, and we always knew that at some point we were going to be expected to leave, and whatever was going to happen was going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, there was always some sort of idea that these were these were glamorous parties for sure, but that stuff was going to happen, and that the average person wasn't going to be there for it.
All right, Steve Helling, Headcrack, staying with us. Coming up next, how close are?
Hey, LJ, thank you for being here.
Are Jay-Z and Diddy?
Very close.
I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed.
We'll see the evidence. You will.
So they're very close, I think. You can see on my thumbnail that they're together quite often, especially during these parties. Jaguar talks about that as well.
I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty.
That's Tony Busby. He's the plaintiff's attorney who is filing these lawsuits. And wow, he's talking about big names. Does it get much bigger than going after P. Diddy and now going after Jay-Z as well? So those are the first two names. There may be more, but this brings me to my next question in our investigation. How close are Jay-Z and Diddy? Because the allegations have them in the same room at the same time, assaulting the same 13-year-old girl. You're not going to do that with a stranger necessarily. Again, just allegations that are being denied by both Jay-Z and Diddy. But what is their relationship? Still with us, Steve Helling and Headcrack. Headcrack, how would you describe their relationship? Professional, personal?
I think that they were definitely close enough to do something as horrendous as that together, because they knew that the other wouldn't tell on them. LJ says Jay-Z always looking scared. I don't know. He's weird to me. I've never quite understood him.
I mean, they've done stuff together musically. They've, the cross-pollinated in very different ways, throughout time. And I think when you get to a point where you're like that type of a mogul, you know what I mean? Where you're involved in that many businesses, you look around and you look at your peers. Who else is doing similar things that I'm doing? So of course you're going to click up with people who have things outside of just the main venture in which you met in, which was music. They both have dealings in alcohol. They both have dealings in fashion. They both have dealings in entertainment. So of course you're going to cross paths and you're going to go towards the most familiar face in the room a lot of times, especially if you two black men, operating in a space that's predominantly white. So so I think they're probably industry close. Do they call each other on their birthdays? I don't know. Don't know them like that. But I could see how they would click up.
Yeah, Steve Helling, your thoughts about the nature of their relationship and the closest. And the reason I'm saying this is because sometimes in situations like this, if in fact, and we're nowhere near close to that.
Hey, Dan, thank you so much for being here. That was probably Abellis or Ike or Cara. There's several people that gift here, and I'm glad you got a membership. Thank you for popping in to say hello.
But if this somehow evolves into a criminal investigation and a criminal case and your co-defendants, we're in a different space. Are they close enough that they would stick together versus turn on each other?
Absolutely.
That's not the case necessarily in the civil world. But Steve, what's your understanding? Is there any sort of a true personal friendship, or is it, respect, mutual billionaires, and professional colleagues?
Well, to answer the first part, no, I don't think that if they were both criminal defendants that they would stick together. I don't think that's what would happen. I do think that, this.
LJ, thank you for dropping in. And LJ said, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Please, if you don't mind, do that so we get out into the algorithm. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a good day, LJ. Thank you for stopping by.
Is more of a professional type of thing. It's a work friend. Pretty much. It's different type of work than our work friends would be. But yeah, I don't look at this and think that Jay-Z is going to go down with Diddy just out of.
If you've ever listened to Jaguar Wright talk about it, they're like brothers, and they're seen together quite a bit. So I definitely think it's more than just a professional relationship through the music industry.
Some sort of loyalty or friendship. Of course not. That's not what's going to happen here. And so, as we look at this and we see where this is going to go, and I don't think it can go to a criminal case right now. I just don't see that ever happening. I think right now it's every man for themselves. And, obviously, if you look at the statement that Jay-Z put out,
he certainly didn't say, and my friend Diddy is innocent too. He didn't do that.
Yeah, and the reason I mentioned the criminal is because of the way the case against Diddy started. It started as a civil suit. Federal investigators used that civil suit as a roadmap for their criminal investigation. Headcrack, do we know where either one of them, whether it's Jay-Z or Diddy, if they were speaking out during the big Me Too flare-up that we had several years back?
Dan said, I was watching the Alexander brothers. They're the exact same as this monster. I think I saw one video on them, but I haven't watched about it. I'll have to look into that case, and thank you for letting me know. Cara said, kind of like Gretchen Wiener's hair is so big just because it's filled with secrets. Because it's filled with secrets, Diddy is filled with bullshit. No doubt.
Did either one of them kind of come out and say, yeah, we need to believe accusers?
That's a very good question. I don't recall hearing their voice during that time, but that's not to say that they didn't, Steve, do you remember if they were on the map at that point? A lot of people were speaking out. Some were very silent. Some just avoided it. Do you recall either Jay-Z or P. Diddy being any part of any conversation about the Me Too movement?
I don't remember anything like that. And that seems like something that if Diddy had done it, I think I probably would have remembered, and I don't remember that. So if he did, he certainly didn't do it very forcefully, not forcefully enough for anybody to remember that. And I also feel like at this point, somebody would have brought it up, and I haven't heard anything of that sort.
All right, Headcrack, the one thing I notice in pop culture is and in the law and everything swings back and forth, right? Me Too, it swung all the way one way. From what you're seeing and what you're hearing from viewers and listeners and everything else, where do you think we are in terms of accusers in this space, whether it's Diddy or Jay-Z? Is there more of a skepticism today, less of a skepticism, or are we kind of where we've been?
I think it varies from case to case. I mean, he was saying a little while ago when, the allegations about Diddy came out, no one was like, oh my God, I don't believe this. No one said that.
Right, because it's been like an open secret for years.
When you get somebody like a Jay-Z or something like this, you get reasonable doubt, like his first album. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of doubt there that he would be involved. I feel like everybody who's been in a space of being a victim deserves to tell this story. But there also needs to be something activated in the space of the law that when people come through with fraudulent, accusations and stories for the sake of getting some money, something needs to happen to them legally as well, because a lot of times they make accusations against people who have who have everything to lose, and the accuser has nothing to lose, whatsoever. Like, what if it gets found out that this person is lying and then this caused Jay-Z the NFL gig that he has, or, puts a wedge between him and his wife? I mean,
it's accurate. I do think that people who are found to be lying, like legitimately found to be lying, should get in trouble for that. I don't think accusers should feel like they can't tell their story. But once you put an accusation out, it sticks, regardless of if it's proven false later. It kind of just sticks, and your reputation is diminished forever because of it. But at the same time, I would never want an actual victim to feel like they couldn't tell their story.
You see it happen all the time. But then there's also those occasions where someone truly was telling the truth and a monster has been exposed. So let's expose the monsters and let's get the liars out of the way and get them in the light too.
Headcrack, Steve Helling, great to see you both tonight. Thank you so much. Coming up, will there be more celebrities named?
Yeah, I think there definitely will be. Have y'all heard about the story of Usher? That at the Flavor Camp, he ended up having to go to the hospital or something, from what I heard. It's absolutely insane. But it's kind of been kept secret. crazy. That's
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is the sex scandal rocking the world of celebrity and hip hop. First, it was P. Diddy, and now Jay-Z is facing some explicit allegations going back 2 decades. Here's the story. It's the story that continues to grow and continues to get bigger and bigger. First, P. Diddy was sued in civil court, accused of engaging in horrific acts of sexual violence. Then his homes were raided. Then he was criminally charged with offenses that could land him in prison for the rest of his life. All the while, the rumors circulated about other big celebrities who could be named. Now, another shocking revelation from a shocking civil suit accusing hip-hop legend Beyonce's husband, Jay-Z, of sexually assaulting a minor with Diddy. Jay-Z has denied the allegations, but the story continues to grow, and everyone is wondering, who is next? The story is getting bigger, and now that Jay-Z has been named, one of
Hey, Squish, thank you for being here.
the issues I'm
Hey, Norma, thank you for being here. You're not late. You're right on time. You got here right when you were supposed to be here.
thinking about in my mind is going back to how everything evolved with Diddy. And Diddy started with a civil suit, turned into a criminal investigation. And it was a criminal investigation based upon RICO, right? Racketeering, which was a way to bring in older allegations into a newer criminal complaint. Now, I have no idea if there's any allegations like that associated with Jay-Z, but keeping an eye on it, obviously, and for obvious reasons, because the allegations here are horrific. Let's take a listen to the plaintiff's attorney who's making these allegations. His name is Tony Busby. He's a plaintiff's attorney out of Texas. Here he is.
There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates.
Now, what I can tell you about the statement he just made is that he's going to have to be very freaking careful about what he says, because he's talking about Hollywood elite that will sue you. They will, the list is a mile long of things they will do to keep their secrets. And if somebody is mentioned that there's no proof of them doing anything, he'll be sued to kingdom come.
No matter who the evidence implicates. And again, the allegations involving Diddy go over years, right? And remember, when his home was raided, there was talk of videos and other evidence like that. I don't know what, if any of that exists, but where are we in all of this, right? Where are we? Who else could be involved? And that brings me to our next question in our investigation. And will there be more celebrities named? You've got two of the biggest right here, Diddy and Jay-Z. It's difficult to get much bigger than that. But will there be more celebrities named in all of this? Joining me, actor, writer, media personality, Headcrack is with us. I listened to Tony Busby, and it just seems like another shoe is going to drop. Like the way I see it, plaintiff's attorney is going to start with a letter, right? Before a suit is filed, before a name is named. And then if there is no negotiation back and forth, then another name comes out. Do you expect to hear other names drop here, celebrities?
Absolutely. I'm surprised we didn't get more names sooner. Because, when you think about the level and caliber of people that probably have, access to this type of celebrity, they got the money to move around. The same things that people were worried about Diddy doing, fleeing the country, laying low till this all blows over. I think a lot of people that possibly could be named also have that same ability. And, I'm in a space like time and do that.
That's them.
Where you know what they said that you did, and let them tell on each other. And so you could really get down to the bottom of it. You know what I mean? Don't give people time to run.
Also joining me now, blogger, columnist, and media personality, Perez Hilton. Perez, thanks so much for joining us. What are your thoughts? Do you think you got Diddy, huge, Jay-Z?
It's Perez Hilton. Is he the one? No, he's not the one that was like, leave Britney alone.
Bigger. Will there be more celebrities named in all of this?
Absolutely. Because I think now that Jay-Z has come forward involuntarily against his will, because
I don't know why it keeps cutting out.
Tony Busby's attorney in November accusing him of extortion and a shakedown. I think because Jay-Z has been outed, some of the other celebrities that Tony Busby has reached out to will perhaps sue him as well.
Fascinating, right? I want to put this up because this is from the Jay-Z Diddy suit and allegations. This is again from the lawsuit. Soon after Combs entered the room along with defendant Carter, who's Jay-Z, and a female celebrity, Celebrity B, plaintiff immediately recognized all three celebrities. This goes back to 2000. So,
and then it says Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her, and said, "You are ready to party." I wonder who the female was. I wonder if it was Beyonce.
Head crack. Do you think that Celebrity B will be named, a female celebrity who didn't physically take part in the alleged assault, but was there and was watching?
Hey, man, if you're in a car with people who are doing a crime and the driver and the passenger get arrested, if you're in the back seat, you're with them too. So I would imagine that this person at some point should be named and they should be concerned.
Perez, we go back to 2000. I don't know who's in whose circle of being, but at that point, Jay-Z is not with Beyonce, right? That precedes all of that, 2000.
Correct, but Diddy at the time was, if I remember correctly, that was before he and Jennifer Lopez broke up. I'm not saying the woman in question was Jennifer Lopez. I'm just saying it could be. And I do find it very...
Oh, it could be Jennifer Lopez. I didn't even think about that.
Very interesting that Jennifer Lopez has remained so silent about anything Diddy related. If I was advising her, I would have definitely suggested a while ago that she release some kind of statement saying she had no idea that Diddy was engaging in this kind of behavior, that her heart goes out to the victims, to the women that have come forward. If she doesn't want to use the word victims, her heart goes out to the women that have come forward. She hasn't done that. She's remained so tight-lipped about everything Diddy, and I get it. They broke up a very long time ago. She shouldn't have to pay for the mistakes he made, but at a certain point, her silence becomes deafening, I believe.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned this.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that because she acts more scared than innocent to me. Jennifer Lopez does.
Silence of Jennifer Lopez. Now I'm remembering the first trial I covered on Court TV, 2001, New York City, Diddy and the gun case. That trial was all about when is J-Lo going to show up and what is she going to say? Because the limo driver saying the gun belonged to Diddy. You know, Diddy's side is saying the gun belonged to the limo driver, and J-Lo was there as well. But she remained completely silent. She wasn't called by the prosecution. She wasn't called by the defense, and she said nothing at the time. Headcrack, do you expect we'll ever hear anything from J-Lo on any of this?
Absolutely not. Like, J-Lo is about preserving J-Lo and keeping J-Lo's ball pushing, because the thing is, J-Lo was the only person that could have kept Shine from going to prison, because there was...
Yep, and didn't, if I remember correctly. Hey, Mello's arrest warrant and Abellis. Thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see you, Mello's arrest warrant and Abellis. Y'all are so awesome. Thank you.
There's a lot of people who was like, that's not the only person who had a gun that night, and that's not the person who shot that woman in the face that night. And J-Lo was hands off the whole situation. So I think there's a lot of, maybe, I don't want to say guilt, but the burden of information sometimes when knowing.
I don't know why that keeps cutting out.
Right, with the, and you don't want to really get in the mix of that because that's going to bring your star down, and you already got enough on your plate that you're dealing with right then and there. So I don't think she ever going to say nothing.
So Perez, how would you gauge the list of A-listers who may have been at some of these parties through the years? Are they scared? Are they wondering, or do you think that they already know that they're on some list that this plaintiff's attorney has?
The question isn't who went to a Diddy party. The question is who didn't go to a Diddy party. He was known for the parties he threw. However, what the federal prosecutors allege are not wrongdoings that happen at these larger scale events that he would throw at his homes across the United States, but what went down at these freak-offs with people against their will. And I'm not even sure.
Have y'all heard about the Justin Bieber portion of this? They say that he was like, they all were messing with that child, and that's why he's so messed up now. They blame it on him because when he was 13 years old, I think it was when he was 13, he spent like 2 days, 48 hours with Diddy and was like never the same after, from what I heard.
If this one case with Jay-Z, I'm not certain of the validity of those claims. It could be true, it could not be true. But Cassie, in her lawsuit against Diddy, which really got the ball rolling with everything, she didn't mention any other celebrities. She just mentioned professional S workers, hired companions, if you will. And that's been levied against Diddy, transportation of adult lines. So
I don't know why it keeps cutting out. Zio, thank you so much. Zio said, I've never been to a Diddy party, but I love me an allegedly speculating party. You're so sweet. That was so generous of you. Thank you so much for your generosity. That was so sweet. Thank you.
It's possible that no other celebrities were involved in these freak-offs. And then it's also possible that they were. I'm sure a good lawyer would say, as Diddy's lawyer has said repeatedly, that all of these interactions were consensual, and they could argue, I
can't believe Court TV stuff kept cutting out like this. Like, this is their stuff that's cutting out. It's not me. Where do we go, Court TV?
Because they have evidence. It would be much harder to prosecute people that they don't have compelling evidence against.
Okay, we have about a minute left here, so 30 seconds each to answer this same question. And I'll start with you, Headcrack. Do you think this is the beginning of people coming out against Jay-Z, or do you think this is actually the end of it?
I think that's going to depend on how this first suit goes. There are I have no doubt that there are a lot of victims, but you also have to be careful because there's also going to be people who are looking for money, to be fair. So it's going to depend on how this first case goes, in my opinion. If this person really was a victim and they're portrayed as someone that was looking for money, it might make other victims not want to come forward. If this person is a victim and are treated like a victim, it might make other victims want to speak. If this person, there's also, the chance that people looking for money, to be fair, all the way around the board. So I don't know. And then Bad Girl said Amber Heard hosted freak offs too, but more same-sex parties. I have no doubt about that. Have you heard the story about how Johnny Depp and Amber Heard met? It's interesting.
I think you're going to probably hear a lot of weird stories come out between point A and point B. Some things that are maybe in the same space, some things that are in a different space. You know, like anybody who's been on the internet, you've heard stories about like, you know, Foxy Brown was young when they used to date, or like, you know, how old Beyonce when they really got together, you know? So they're going to try to paint a picture, and, you know, will that picture stick? It's hard to say. So, like, I guess as they say, time will reveal.
Yep.
What are your thoughts, Perez? Is this the end of it, like one and done, or do you think there's going to be several women or a lot of women coming forward relative to Jay-Z?
I think what's going to happen now is a magnifying glass is going to go over all of the rumors that have already gone very viral, but the mainstream media. There's even been a rumor that Jay-Z had an ex girlfriend of his that he was cheating on Beyonce with murdered. I don't believe that to be true, but conspiracy theorists and the rumors that have been around in the past are going to gain traction again. And
I've heard about that. I've heard also that he had a girl in Brooklyn that he met before he became famous that he was like in love with and still talked to, like until here recently. And I don't know if that's who they're referring to that he took out, but it could be. I think Amber Heard used those parties as a way to try to take Depp down, but I think that could be a whole different live that allegedly Speculating could do. Maybe. I'll have to look into that. I haven't heard much about them. The problem with all these celebrities is money and substances. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I can't stand it for his Hilton. I heard some terrible things that he did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like him much either, to be honest. I don't know a lot about him, but I don't like him.
And we'll see if any of those many end up being real or not.
All right. I was just given extra time. So I have one more question again for both of you. I'll start with head crack. What are your thoughts about where the world of social media is going to go on this? It's turned on Diddy, but where's it going to go?
Oh, it's a bloodbath out there. I was reading comments, when the story broke yesterday, there's a lot of people was like, I knew it. Or, Jaguar Wright was right. There's a lot of people for whatever reason are not Jay-Z fans and have not been Jay-Z fans for a long time. I know people who refused to subscribe to Tidal because he was behind it. And they had the way more superior sound and paid artists better. But they just didn't want to align themselves with them. So I think sometimes when you get high enough on a pedestal, it's so much easier to pick up rocks and throw them at you and try to take you down because for whatever reason, they just don't rock with the person that's on top. And, I see some people like, rooting for his downfall, and I see some people saying, this is preposterous, and we're cheering for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it. Zio, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you for being so generous and so supportive today. I really appreciate that. If you guys don't know, Zio has a channel and she has been putting out so much Sarah Boone information, and it's really awesome. She's got a letter too that the Sarah sent the judge, and it's really something to hear if you guys haven't listened to it. Sarah Boone is a whole nother story. Goodness gracious, that woman. I'm going to play our clip. Thank you so much. And if you guys were gifted a membership, please tell her thank you. All aboard the Speculation Station train. Thank you so much, Zaya.
Or we don't believe none of this. So we'll see what happens once they vet all these allegations.
Absolutely, Perez. Like 15 seconds. What are your thoughts? How's this gonna play social media?
Well, we've already seen it over the last couple of days that social media has not been on Jay-Z's side, but he doesn't care. He is retired He's going about business as usual. He showed up after being named in this lawsuit alongside Diddy. He went to the premiere of The Lion King. Like, oh, no big deal. What allegation? I'm going to be here supporting my wife and my daughter that's also in the movie.
Perez, Hilton, and Headcrack, appreciate your time. Thank you both so much. Great to see you. All right, when we come back, does Jay-Z need a criminal defense attorney?
This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be.
Coming soon to Court TV.
It's the biggest story that we're...
I wonder if they just have to say that because, I mean, there's mayors and politicians involved in all of that. Thank you again, Zio. Abella said, Diddy's party sound absolutely depraved. Imagine needing IV fluids and substances after a party. Right. Yeah, I can't. It's insane. And they absolutely did. They had doctors that would bring IV fluids into the participants.
To investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York.
That's the prosecutor, the U.S. attorney who was leading the charge against Diddy. I think he's left office, by the way. But let me put this up on the screen because now we're talking about Jay-Z.
If I remember correctly, he was accused in some of it, but I could be wrong. That could have been, there was some New York mayor that was involved in some of it, supposedly.
This is an excerpt from Jay-Z's response posted on Rock Nation Facebook page. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. And again, the allegations are that Diddy and Jay-Z forcibly sexually assaulted and raped a 13-year-old. So that brings us to a next question in our investigation.
A 13-year-old, y'all.
Which is, does Jay-Z need a criminal defense attorney? Right? He's saying, hey, if this is true, it's a crime. You should charge me. Joining me to help us work through all this.
That's an interesting way to go about it. If he was saying, you know, do I need a defense attorney because you need to charge me for this crime if I committed it, then maybe he really didn't. Maybe he's saying that, you know, because he knows he didn't. And he's, you know, telling them basically, you know, go ahead and F around and find out by charging me. Kara said that mayor that gave Diddy the key to the city was also allegedly at the Diddy parties. Yes, thank you for reminding me of which one it was. It was the mayor that gave Diddy the key to the city.
Criminal defense attorney and special prosecutor in Texas, Brian Weiss. Brian, great to see you tonight. Let me ask you, does Jay-Z need a criminal defense attorney?
Abella says, nope, just lock him up. Yes, Mayor Adams. Yes, thank you, Mellows. Mayor Adams, that's exactly who it was. That's also been said to be involved.
Absolutely, Chaluch. Make no mistake. Having a criminal defense attorney in this situation is like having the insurance policy that you hope you never need to cash in, but you're awfully glad that you do. I've seen so many high-profile defendants go forth in what could initially be a civil matter that eventually reaches DEFCON 1 as a criminal matter, and they're jammed up because they didn't have somebody by their side early on. Make no mistake, Vinny, Alex Spiro is, as they say in the mob, a made guy. He made his bones in the Manhattan DA's office prosecuting the dating game killer. He's somebody who's represented all manner of high-profile defendants in civil cases, but he's also done it well in the criminal form. He's represented Alec Baldwin. He walked him out of the courtroom in New Mexico in the Rust manslaughter prosecution. He was part of the Robert Kraft defense team in Florida for the solicitation case. And he represents, perhaps most famously of all, New York City Mayor Eric Adams in his ongoing federal indictment. Being able to be the kind of civil litigator that Alex is.
So he is representing the Mayor Adams that y'all were just talking about and reminded me of. Thank you guys. So yeah, evidently he's got a good defense attorney.
Combined with his criminal experience is like being Shohei, going both ways and doing it well.
So how does this work? Civil cases, there are depositions. You have to sit down. You have to answer questions hours at a time. But it's a case and allegations that could potentially lead to some criminal charges. I know there's statute of limitations issues as well, because these things go back years. But we saw what they did in the Diddy investigation with the RICO, creating charges involving or alleging a criminal enterprise. So is there some danger here for Jay-Z?
You know what I learned, Vin? You can never go wrong agreeing with the host. You're absolutely right. Look, we saw what happened in Diddy, but I've also seen it in other cases. Why? Because sometimes investigators on the civil side have the time and the energy and the bandwidth to do the kind of investigation that sometimes law enforcement is unable or unwilling to undertake. You never know what it is that the Southern District prosecutors have at their disposal. Look, anybody who's ever binge watched Billions knows there's a reason they're called the Sovereign District. The prosecutors in that office in Foley Square.
I'm so sorry, Abellis. I hate that you were dealing with that. Abellis said that hair, though, I should send him $20 for a haircut. Goodness. I'm sorry you're dealing with what you're going through, hon.
The baddest, boldest, and best at what they do. They are quite literally the toughest kids in the schoolyard. And you don't know what it is that they have at their disposal. And make no mistake, the U.S. attorney, who I don't think has resigned quite yet, but will likely be replaced, has made it clear, we don't care who you are, we don't care what you do. If you've done something wrong, you can run, but you can't hide, Vin.
All right, you've got about 15 seconds here, Brian. What is your prediction as to how this goes for Jay-Z? Is this just one civil suit? Is he going to be able to get it dismissed, or is this a problem?
I think that when his head hits the pillow tonight, Jay-Z needs to be concerned with who's on the other side. Alex Sparrow's a great lawyer, but so is Tony Buzbee. Tony Buzbee's the guy that you want watching your back in a rumble. Forget about Riff and Bernardo. He is the real deal. And there's a saying in East Texas that a lot of lawyers have a lion's mouth and a hummingbird's behind. That means they won't go to trial. Tony Buzbee will. And by the time I think he gets through with Jay-Z.
And that's the one representing the victim. So he might, I mean, if that attorney took it, I would think that it's probably a legitimate case.
Jay-Z's going to be like a hitchhiker in a West Texas hailstorm, Ben. He can run, he can't hide, and he can't make it stop.
Brian Weiss, thanks so much. Great to see you. You know, it's difficult to put the gravity of these allegations into perspective. You have to begin with the two men being accused, billionaires who practically built the world of hip hop and took it mainstream, Diddy and Jay-Z. Then the allegations that are so horrific and beyond.
I think Run DMC, I mean, there's some other people that kind of built hip hop, but okay.
Anyone's sense of decency. But right now, Diddy and Jay-Z are in two different boats. Diddy's locked up and may never be free. Jay-Z's being sued for money and says he's going to fight it. The future's dim for Diddy, but Jay-Z can literally buy his way out. I'm Vinny Politan.
Diddy almost did, and probably there's a possibility he still could. All right, so here's the Diddy list, and he just starts naming names. So it's going to be a lot. I'm going to try to, I can't pull up the pictures because he goes so quick, but evidently this is supposed to be the Diddy list. By Scott Baio, he just says drops the Diddy list, and that's the people in Hollywood that have been to the Diddy parties and are associated with Diddy. So here we go.
Robert De Niro, Rob Reiner, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and others. From The View, Rachel Maddow, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Richard Marx.
I'm going to play it twice, possibly 3 times, so you can catch everything because he talks quick.
Marx, Alec Baldwin, Pink, Ron Howard, Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Leo DiCaprio, Oprah, Cardi B, Lizzo, Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Jennifer Garner, J-Lo, Andy Cohen, Cher, Bryan Cranston, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kathy Griffin, Michael Keaton, Rosie O'Donnell, John Stamos, Eva Longoria, John Legend and his wife, Spike Lee, Sean Astin, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jon Stewart, Bill Maher.
I've heard a couple that I was already like, yeah, I think I know that they've been to those parties. Hey, need some Z's. I don't know why Scott Baio is dropping this list. I know I've seen him somewhere, but I can't think of where.
Alyssa Milano, Bruce.
Oh, I guess it continues. Hold on. Let me
Robert
see
De Niro, Rob Reiner, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and others. From The View, Rachel Maddow, Mark Ruffalo, Mark Hamill, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Richard Marx, Alec Baldwin, Pink, Ron Howard, Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Leo DiCaprio, Oprah, Cardi B, Lizzo.
Like Leo DiCaprio, Cardi B, Lizzo, John Legend, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel. I would expect all of them to be there. To be fair, and thank you for being here, Lindsay. Lindsay says, while there could be some substance to all this, Scott Baio is without a doubt a Trumper, and all the names on his list have vocally spoken against Trump. So I wanted to be fair and put that out here. We'll finish listening to the rest of this for one more time.
Ariana Grande, Billie Eilish, Jennifer Garner, J-Lo, Andy Cohen, Cher, Bryan Cranston, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kathy Griffin, Michael Keaton, Rosie O'Donnell, John Stamos, Eva Longoria, John Legend and his wife, Spike Lee, Sean Astin, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jon Stewart, Bill Maher, Alyssa Milano, Bruce.
I don't know what the rest of that said, and I don't know if I'll be able to pull it up, but okay. I'm in Black America Radio says that's not the Diddy list. Okay, thank you for that information. If you know where it's at, could you please let me know? And thank you so much for being here. Lindsay Hendricks said I was charging my phone from across the room while this was playing, and once he started reading names, I had to walk over. Well, thank you for letting me know. Trump, I think he went to he was on Epstein's plane one time. I don't know if he ever went to a Diddy party. Need Some Z's was telling us where he was from. He was from Happy Days and Charlie's Angels. I think that's who you said. Not Sean Astin, says Sarah. Thank you. If in Black, sorry, I'm looking for that comment again. To the person who said that in Black America Radio, if you know where the list is, could you let me know? And I'll work on looking for it while we watch this. I've got this video titled P. Diddy and J-Lo fought before raper allegedly. Lawsuit. Before I said raper, I didn't mean to say that. Nope. P. Diddy and J-Lo fought before rapper allegedly assaulted 13-year-old girl. So this is going to be
filed against Sean Diddy Combs by a woman.
If this is accurate, this is going to be a fight that him and J-Lo got into. If I had to assume, I would say moments before he allegedly walked in that room and told that girl, picked her up and was like, "You're ready to party." The part we just heard them read, the part that we just heard them talk about reading, Vinnie Politan was reading about through the document or whatever. And when he says that they entered the room and picked her up and was like, "You're ready to party." If I had to guess, I would say that this fight that's going to be referenced here is probably a fight that happened right before that happened. Zayo, I dropped the link for you. Thank you. There are pictures at Trump at Diddy parties? I didn't know that. That's interesting. Well, yeah, then maybe he's not listed. If Scott Baio is a Trump supporter and all of those names are people who spoke against Trump, then maybe that's why Trump's not listed on that list. I don't know. Hey, Zio, thank you for being here. Okay, let's see. She has sent me a link, so we'll jump to that real quick. Hold on just a minute.
I didn't even have my mic on. I was just going to stay backstage, but I found this. I thought it might be a nice little article from December 9th that you might want to read that has a few of the A-list celebrities that were named in the lawsuit against Diddy. So that helps a little bit. It may not be a complete list. There isn't one of those out yet, a complete list, and nobody knows. There were so many celebrities over the years. I think it's going to be one of those things that it's going to take some time for people to realize how big the situation is. So yeah, Scott Baio put out a list that basically were people that were supporters that support his party and everybody in that party that it really wasn't a complete list. It was just kind of a shock and awe kind of thing. So there some of those are part of that list, but some of them aren't. It is what it is.
Okay. Thank you so much for grabbing this for me off of short notice. I appreciate that. Okay. I hate when they put these like ads over top of what it says. So this is titled, List is Out. Here are the A-list celebrities who are named in the lawsuit against Diddy. The names will shock you. It says, the list of well-known individuals who are named in the assault cases brought against Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy has been the target of numerous lawsuits alleging sexual abuse and a federal indictment in the last year. Oh, wrong way. While not all of them are named as defendants, God, I hate that. Some lawsuits, oh my goodness. While all of them are not named as defendants, some lawsuits contain accusations against other well-known individuals, as quoted in a report by Business Insider. These celebrities are linked to the numerous charges that Diddy is facing. More than 30 civil lawsuits have been filed. Like, I don't understand why this company would do that. Like, why do you... Like, they got so many ads on here, it's hard to read the article. Like, why would you do that as a website trying to report news? More than 30 civil lawsuits have been brought against Combs since his ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, sued him in November 2023, alleging that he had raped, abused, and drugged her. Even though Combs is the only defendant named in the federal indictment, some of his associates and employees are mentioned as being part of the illegal business he oversaw. A number of wealthy and influential individuals in Combs' inner circle have also been named in the string of civil lawsuits that have targeted him in the last 12 months. Plaintiffs accuse some of outright wrongdoing, such as giving Combs drugs or observing the abuse and failing to stop it. Others, like Usher, Nicki Minaj, or Prince Harry, are merely mentioned in passing and are not charged with any crimes. Okay, we're almost there. An anonymous woman claims that Combs and Sean Carter, better known by his stage name Jay-Z, drugged and sexually assaulted her when she was 13 years old in one of the most recent significant lawsuits. Try to get rid of that. Okay. These prominent individuals are connected to the charges against Combs. Aaron Hall, an R&B singer who was a member of the group Guy, was named as a defendant in the case. Harvey Pierre. 2 lawsuits were brought against Combs before the Adult Survivors Act expired, and one of them named music producer Harvey Pierre as a defendant. Cuba Gooding Jr., who's an actor. Cuba Gooding Jr. is named in an amended complaint that music producer Rodney Jones Jr., better known by his stage name Little Rod, filed in the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York in March. Justin Dior Combs, Combs' 30-year-old son, Justin Dior Combs, is a defendant in Jones' amended complaint in the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York, even though he isn't necessarily a celebrity in his own right. Let me see what y'all are saying real quick, because I can't see y'all when I'm on that page. Hey, Rufio Banning, thank you for being here. Rufio Banning said that Sean Atwood channel is goodness gracious. That Sean Atwood channel is untrustworthy, in my opinion. You can't speak on Jaguar Wright without getting the boot. She calls herself the female Diddy. Should be enough for everyone to question her behavior. Okay, I don't know much about the channels. I've listened to her talk. I didn't believe a lot of the things she said until it started happening. So I'll say that on it. Obviously, the things she says, everybody should take with a grain of salt.
Is this
Need some
the?
Z's had said LeBron.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, I was just saying, Need some Z says LeBron James. What were you saying?
I got caught up where Need Some Z said LeBron James, and I heard in my head the wow, you know how they used to do Leroy Jenkins. Now I hear that when I hear LeBron James. My nephews have this whole thing about LeBron James, and they're so. Anyways, I think right now it just needs to be said, and as a disclaimer, that there is so much information put out there, and it's kind of like it's one of those cases, the bigger cases that's convoluted, and so many hands are in it, like so many people's hands
Yep.
are in it, that we can't trust some of the things that we see with our own eyes, because AI and stuff like that. So it just, the approach that we're taking is not that everything should be 100% taken into context as complete fact and truth. It's a speculating channel. We
Right.
just kind of want to look at things from all angles and see, what do we see? What's out there that we can see? It doesn't necessarily, I don't want to push off misinformation, and I don't want anybody else to do that either, right? So, if you're just
Right.
talking about what's out there on the internet, we're not saying that Cuba Gooding Jr. had anything to do with it, except for the fact that there's photos out there saying that, you know, maybe he did. We don't know. We weren't there. All we can do
Right.
is speculate,
Right.
right? So I just want
Right.
that to be said, because I don't want anybody to think or getting pushback, you to get pushback for putting out something. So this is a high priority case for for the people that are in charge of it, and people like you are just trying to get things out there and try to make some left or right of the situation. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Scott Baio was factual or not. We don't know. Maybe he has a stake in it we don't know about. There's a lot of surprises in this case. It's not gonna. It's We're not done seeing
Yeah.
the surprises.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be a lot of misinformation put out in this case, and there's going to be some facts too. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And again, yeah, I just put my banner up. I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm just, reading what I can find on the internet and what Zio has also helped me find. But we, in no way, shape, or form, I'm not going to stand 10 toes down on any of this because I don't know. I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Lindsay said Lil Rod's lawsuit has a lot of information and dirt in it, in my opinion. He is jaded that he didn't get a top single like Diddy promised him. He was just as complicit in the schemes Diddy was orchestrating. Okay, I can respect that. A lot of times, from what I understand, Diddy would promise them careers and then, use them and kind of get rid of them. So could that have happened to him as well? I don't know. Um, it's a whole effed up situation, in my opinion. Continuing with the list, the jeweler Jacob, it says in July, complainant against Combs, Adria English names Jacob Arbro, popularly known as Jacob the Jeweler, as a defendant. Rapper Young Miami, Jones amended complaint, which was submitted. Oh, it went away. Good. To the U.S. District Court in the District of New York, makes reference to Young Miami, a member of City Girls. Producer and DJ Stevie J, the Grammy winner Stevie J's Combs' longtime partner is accused by Jones in his amended complaint filed in the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York of recruiting sex workers and taking part in Combs' quote freak-offs, though Jones does not name Stevie J as a defendant. Kalania Harper, which is a singer, along with Dawn Richard and Combs. Kalania Harper was part of the group Diddy Dirty Money. Jimmy Ivan, co-founder of Interscope Records. I won't read all of the little words. We know who the co-founder of Interscope Records is. Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group, was named, and she's Sophia Richie's father-in-law. He was named as a defendant along with Universal Music Group, its label, and Motown Records. And I think that's it, because the other part is FAQs. What exactly are the allegations against Sean? Diddy has been accused of sexual assault, abuse, and trafficking in over 30 lawsuits. Claims include coercion, violence, and drugging. Are other celebrities named in the lawsuit? While Jay-Z, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Aaron Hall are mentioned, they are not all defendants or accused of misconduct. Thank you for sending me this. And she also sent me something else I wanted to pull up going along with what Cara said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say Cara
So
sent
I'm going
those
to grab that real
in
quick.
the Discord, so we were lucky enough to get those. I have not looked through them. I do not know what's on them. Just that's, Cara sent them to me. I looked through a few
and
of
I
them.
appreciate it,
Didn't
Cara.
there was anything bad, but
Yeah, if it's on Getty Images, it should be good, I hope. So, yeah, this goes back to talking about Trump being at Diddy parties, and then, talking about Scott Baio making a list and why he didn't mention Trump. And as you can see, he's here, and it looks like he was at several Diddy parties. And I'm not going to get political, I'm just trying to put it out here. I mean, you can see, like, this one is from way back in the day. That's, that one's from way back in the day. That one's, within the last 10, 20 years, I would say. So they go back over time. That one has got that. Oh, I thought that was the actor from Get Him to the Greek. That one dude.
you can click on them each individually, go to the right. If you try to put one of those in the cart, they're generally between $375. I'm not gonna pay.
Really?
Yeah, they're like $375 for these images. It's interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I would screenshot it, but I'd probably get in trouble.
Well, it has the.
Who is that? Isn't that that's Russell Simmons there? Okay. So what is it? Is it like you can buy the actual photo or something?
Oh yeah. Kimora Lee
Oh.
Simmons is in the one, and then Russell Simmons, yes. Kimora Lee, and that was at Art for Life, though.
Okay, so not all of them are from the parties. Okay.
No, that Brian Grazer's on that other one, Donald Trump, and then Brett Ratner's right there. And then just has that was a gala, the Art for Life gala.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just meant to show that they had ties to one another,
Yeah.
and that the ties to the celebrities themselves of who was there and how long ago. Like New York in like 2001, Sean and Donald Trump and Jason Ben and Lenny Kravitz were all at a at a place together, and I think it's just meant to show the ties that he had to celebrities, which he was a prominent celebrity. Of course, he's going to have ties to people. These pictures particularly don't show anything except for the fact that he's been in the same room with people like Lynette Cole, and you know what I'm saying? It just
right.
I think it just gives reference to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. This one looks like it could be outside somewhere or at a yacht or something. That one is at his house. That looks like the balcony he talks off of in some of the videos he does. So that one might be at an actual Trump party. I don't know. Thank you.
Trump better not be having those parties.
No, I hope not, but I don't want to get political either. I appreciate you sending that to me. I'm going to pull this up, and while this is coming up, I'm going to read some of your comments. I know y'all been talking. Lindsay said, right, I wasn't trying to get political by bringing up Trump initially, but that's why I had to go grab my phone to chat, because Scott's list was immediately just Democrats, so Scott made it political. Yeah, and I appreciate you letting me know that, because I don't want to put out misinformation at all. So I appreciate you letting me know that and reiterating that. Lindsay said, when it's not, both sides can be involved in this. That's why I had to speak out about Scott's little notebook paper. Yeah, I think both sides, everybody's involved from probably from all walks of life. Needs Some Z said, in my opinion, going to one of those parties wasn't in itself bad. From what I've heard celebrities say, there's a time to leave those parties after that things happen. Yep, absolutely. And that's what I've heard too. Hello, Elizabeth Lander. Thank you for being here. I'm glad to see you, and thank you for hanging out with us today. Abella said, Need Some Z's, exactly what I was thinking. And then I'll do this one real quick. There's a creator on YouTube by the name of Noor Jasmine. Yeah, I've watched her sometimes. She has some great videos on the backstory of Diddy. It's even from a few months ago, maybe even a year ago now. Y'all would love her style. She does do really good stuff. Noor Jasmine. She's really soft spoken. I think she wears like a tinfoil hat in most of her videos. She's sweet. I like her. I watched her for a while too. All right, so this is going back to this is from News Nation or Crime Fix. It's P. Diddy and J-Lo fought before rapper allegedly raped 13-year-old girl. If you remember from what we were going over a minute ago with Vinnie Politan Investigates, when he read the document and said the 13-year-old girl went to lay on the bed because she was feeling nauseous, and then Diddy comes in and basically snatches her up and is like, you're ready to party. If I had to guess, I would say that maybe they fought right before the incident happened. He's fighting with J-Lo. He walks away and he walks into the room where this girl is and, continues on with that and allegedly assaults her.
And claiming he raped her at an MTV Video Music Awards after party in front of a male and a female celebrity is raising eyebrows and questions about who those unnamed celebrities could be. This comes as a new report claims Combs and his then girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, argued that night. I look at what it could mean. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Sean Combs has faced a flurry of civil lawsuits from women claiming that he sexually assaulted them. Combs has denied all of the allegations in these civil suits, and he has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering charges filed against him by federal prosecutors. Prosecutors have said more charges could be coming, and a federal grand jury actually heard additional testimony just last week.
There's, I think, 13 filed so far. I can't remember if that article said 13 or 30. Lindsay said, right, but she goes in depth on Diddy, covers the J-Lo thing, Diddy's ex-girlfriend who turned up deceased, Diddy's involvement with Usher when he himself was only 13, just like Justin Bieber. Yep. And then Need Some Z says, in my opinion, J-Lo very likely knew what he was doing at a minimum. Yeah, at a minimum. Yeah. I think she covered for him at the shooting in the New York City nightclub. And she let that man go to prison. And she broke up with him shortly after. I think J-Lo is tormented, but she'll never speak, in my opinion.
The latest wave of civil lawsuits have been filed by attorney Tony Busby, who claims to have been contacted by more than 100 people claiming that Combs sexually assaulted them. Some of these people were minors at the time. Combs's lawyers have said Busby is just looking for publicity and a quick payday. But a suit filed in the last week by a woman identified only as Jane Doe is raising eyebrows because of when and where she claims Combs assaulted her. The woman was 13 at the time, in January of 2000, when she said she went to the MTV Video Music Awards at Radio City Music Hall. She didn't have a ticket, so she approached some limo drivers parked outside, hoping she might get in. The lawsuit says one of the limousine drivers she spoke to claimed to work for defendant Combs. He told her that Combs liked younger girls and said she, quote, fit what Diddy was looking for, not allowing her into the awards, but inviting her to an after party. The driver instructed plaintiff to return around 9:30 or 10 p.m., promising to take her to the party. Now, while this woman says she was outside the VMAs talking to limo drivers, inside, it was a big, big night.
That's interesting. I haven't heard the beginning of this story. Neeson Z said, Kim Porter, this is not a bad thing unless she's forced to with criminal charges. Who knows? The Neeson Z's. And Zio said, Elizabeth, I don't care how you found us, as long as you know you are welcome here. We appreciate you. Your time is valuable and you're choosing us. Absolutely. Thank you for putting it so eloquently. Zio, I just noticed that you're not on my panel anymore. If you want to come back up, let me know. And thank you for bringing me that information. I hope I didn't boot you.
Particularly for Jennifer Lopez, who was at the awards show with her then boyfriend, Sean Combs. They were a hot couple back then. Lopez won the VMA that night for Best Dance Video. She was on top of the world. Afterward, the couple went to a nightclub, which is closed now, for an after party. The Daily Mail reported that there were a lot of famous people at this party, like Eminem, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, magician David Blaine, and many more. And at the party, the Daily Mail actually posted photos and quoted a source that showed Lopez and Combs getting into an argument. No one knows what this argument was about. Let's be very clear about that. But she doesn't look happy in these photos. Now back to the lawsuit. The woman claims that night, outside of Radio City Music Hall, she got into a limo with someone affiliated with Sean Combs. The suit says, after approximately 20 minutes, plaintiff arrived at a large white house with a gated U-shaped driveway. Once inside, two men asked plaintiff to sign a non-disclosure agreement, informing her that she could not discuss what happened at the party. She gave them her name and signed the form, but did not receive a copy.
Of course she didn't. Yeah, they made her sign an NDA, and they're going to probably pull that up if she goes to court, if it makes it to court. Cara, thank you so much. That was so generous of you. Thank you for being so supportive. Thank you. Thank you so much. Cara just gifted 10 Speculation Station memberships. If you guys were gifted a membership, please tell her thank you. And I'll play our clip. Thank you so much for your generosity. That was so kind of you. I saw y'all were saying some things. Abella said, that sorry excuse for a man is a monster. He'll enjoy his forever home. I hope he does, because I know he did some horrendous things. Okay, thank you, Zaya. Lindsay Hendricks said, Busby's lawsuits are top notch. Anyone can reach out to them, but they're expected to be vetted and provide some sort of evidence or point them to others that could corroborate their story. Yeah, Busby, I think that they're doing good by going with him. And then Lindsay said, so basically if Busby is filing the lawsuit, there's enough evidence to prove such, per his own standings and requirements. Yep, I think so. I wonder, I know they're going to pull that NDA out if they haven't and try to use it against her. Neeson Z says NDAs don't trump crimes, though, even if she did sign one. If he did what she claims, I don't believe it would matter. Good point. Good point. You're more, I'm sure you're probably accurate about that. Thank you. And then Elizabeth Lander said monsters have more standards. Ooh, that cut to the bone.
Inside the house, plaintiff recognized many celebrities in what appeared to be a living room. Waitstaff carried trays of drinks and loud music played throughout the house. Plaintiff observed widespread drug use, including marijuana and cocaine. Plaintiff accepted a drink, a reddish-yellow mixture that tasted like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. The woman is not claiming that she was at the nightclub, but she claims that she started feeling woozy and went to a bedroom at this house to lay down and was then assaulted. The suit continues. Soon after Combs, along with a male and female celebrity, entered the room. Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, "You are ready to party." Combs then threw plaintiff toward another male celebrity, Celebrity A, who removed plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disoriented. Plaintiff was held down by Celebrity A, who raped her while Combs and Celebrity B, a female, watched. Now, Celebrity A and Celebrity B obviously are not identified in this lawsuit. We have no idea who they are. And I'm certainly not saying or suggesting that Celebrity B is J-Lo.
But it's questionable, because what other female is going to be in there watching this interaction, especially if it was between Jay-Z? I would think Jay-Z's lady or Sean's lady, or Diddy's lady, who was J-Lo at the time. And I'm wondering if they got in a fight, because again, as she just mentioned, J-Lo's going to be on the top of the world in this moment because she just received a Grammy, probably one of her first, if not her first. I know it's probably her first for music. And if he's like, I've already got some things lined up for the after party, we're going to have a party tonight. Maybe they were fighting about the fact that he was going to have a party because she didn't want to do that. It was her night. It was special to her, and she didn't want to be involved. Elizabeth Lander, I have a bunny named Basil. That's the mascot of our channel, and Zaya made this for me. That's not Basil, but it reminds us, we like rabbits over here. And thank you for the comment. You're really sweet. Abella said, one thing about Diddy, he always dressed very well. Prison clothes will chafe his soft skin. So, yeah, he has a thing about white. That's why he called it the white party. And then real quick, Kara said, there's part of me that wants to say where the F were her parents at 13, but I know I did things and was at places where I shouldn't have been at 13 too. Me too. I was as well, but I think it stated that her dad come and picked her up from it. So it's kind of scary. Like I was places I really shouldn't have been, and things happened to me because I was at places I shouldn't have been, but my parents didn't know about it. Like, I don't know. Scary.
We have no idea who this woman is claiming these people are. But Jennifer Lopez is one of the many celebrities who has not said anything about the allegations made against Sean Combs. And many people have wanted her to say something, anything really. She dated him from 1999 to 2001. In fact, they broke up about 5 months after this accuser claims in her lawsuit that the sexual assault took place. And we have no idea what Jennifer Lopez thinks about any of this, or whether she ever witnessed anything that concerned her when it comes to minors, women, men, or drugs. In fact, she was asked about Combs recently. Take a look at what happened.
Guys, get out of control. Do you have any comments about P.Diddy and the allegations?
So J-Lo did not like that, not one bit. And it's not the only time it's happened. Other people.
Well, I couldn't tell by that clip. I don't think there was quite enough to say that she was like disgusted by it necessarily, or assume or allege that she really didn't like it. There wasn't enough of a clip there for us to tell that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't wear white either, Sarah. I'm too clumsy and spill everything. Thank you, Abellis. You're so generous. You guys are being so generous today. Thank you. Wow, y'all are amazing. I'll play our clip one more time. I know Abellis loves it. Thank you. Thank you, Abellis. That was so generous of you. If you guys were gifted a membership by Abellis, please tell her thank you. You guys are amazing. You're so sweet. Yeah, my food decides what I wear too. Merry Kissmoose. I love it. A Merry Kissmoose.
People have asked her the same question and received absolutely no response. So what does any of this mean? The cases I cover each day here on Crime Fix show you just how scary the world can be. And one of the scariest things that can happen is if you are ever hurt. But I want you.
She's going to do a commercial. Elizabeth said, shoot, I'm not too proud to wear a bib because I'm messy. Girl, me either. I will wear a bib in a heartbeat, especially if I am, they feel like I'm going to make a mess. Yup, sure will. Hey again, Toxic. Zaya said, club shooting in 1999, trademark infringement 2000s. Britney allegations in 2007, football coach assault in 2015, civil suits and financial disputes. What did he think was going to happen? He isn't untouchable. Good point. Wow, you got the info. You pulled all that real quick. Thank you.
You can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/crimefix.
Me too need some Z's.
I want to bring in Nima Rahmani. He's an entertainment attorney and also a former federal prosecutor. So Nima, I'm interested in your thoughts.
Sorry.
What do you make about J-Lo staying so quiet?
It was supposed to be Battery, not Britney. I thought it was talking about Britney Spears stuff that was happening. I don't know. I read it too fast. My mind's going faster than my eyeballs today. Sorry about that. It was supposed to be Battery. Mello said, I wear a bib while eating crawfish. Yes, I will too. I get my white clothes so dirty.
Quiet about this. Of course, she hasn't been with Sean Combs for many, many years, but she is his most high profile, most well-known romantic interest. And she was with him the night that this woman who claims she was 13, she claims that she was sexually assaulted by Sean Combs.
Kim Porter was with him for longer. I don't know where Kim Porter originated from. Like maybe she is referencing the fact that J-Lo was a celebrity.
Was at this after party.
And Jeanette, J-Lo wants nothing to do with Diddy. People normally don't want to have anything to do with their ex, but especially here. I mean, obviously they broke up more than 20 years ago, but both in terms of the courtroom, potentially being named in a civil lawsuit, or being a witness in his criminal trial is the last thing she wants to do, especially when she's campaigning right now for the vice president and trying to get her elected.
Yeah, she certainly has been out there on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris. We saw her last week. She actually got tearful when she was up there on stage campaigning. But we see that clip of her. She's signing autographs somewhere and somebody says, do you have a comment on the whole Diddy thing? And she just kind of walks off. She's like, I'm over this. And you can see it in her face. She wants nothing to do with it. But should she possibly say something? I mean, she was with him back when this whole nightclub shooting happened. I mean, she was with him for a time, almost 2 years or so, maybe a little longer than that. I mean, she may have seen some stuff. We just don't know.
She may very well be a witness, and there's a possibility, if you believe the allegations, that she witnessed a rape of a 13-year-old girl. So the question is, what is she going to do? And I'm going to tell you what her legal and PR team is telling her, which is keep your mouth shut. Do not address it at all. No one wants anything to do with Diddy and his legal problems. This isn't a Michael Jackson situation where people are going to come out in defense of.
Because if she speaks on it, then she's going to get herself involved as well. Lindsay said, without a doubt, Diddy had things to do with Biggie and Tupac. It shouldn't be lost on anyone that the ball finally got rolling regarding Tupac's unaliving after Cassie's lawsuit and Diddy's arrest. Yep.
Of Diddy, no one is doing that. I mean, essentially, he's been convicted in the court of public opinion.
Yep.
And I think J-Lo, given her previous romantic relationship, and of course, she was involved in his previous criminal case, that nightclub shooting in New York. Obviously, that resulted in an acquittal. But I think given where she is in her personal and professional life, she's staying as far away from this as she possibly can.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, she was detained that night for the nightclub shooting. She wasn't ever charged or anything like that. So, and there was all this talk at the time that her mom was telling her, you got to get away from this guy. But I do want to be clear too, like she's not been accused of witnessing the rape of the 13-year-old girl, but she was at the party that night, the after party at the bar. This alleged sexual assault took place at a house much later in the evening, allegedly, or a little later in the evening. But Nima, are these pictures in the Daily Mail.
I don't know if y'all can hear that, but the kids are playing outside. I'm sorry if y'all hear it. Need some Z says Kim Porter was with Diddy from about 1994 to 2007. They had 3 children together. Lindsay Hendricks said, well, at the time the charges were brought regarding Tupac, I don't know if Diddy had been arrested yet, but he certainly had been raided by the FBI in both California and Florida at the same exact time. Elizabeth said, I'd convict him. Don't let me be on the jury. Zio said, real quick, there's no record of simultaneous FBI raids on Diddy in California and Florida that I can find. Not to say that it didn't happen. I just can't find it. It did. They showed it on the news. I remember seeing that when the FBI raided his house in California, they did go into his house in Florida at the same time. And I think he was in New York. I remember seeing it on the news. That was when his sons got arrested, Zio. They arrested his sons and perp walked his sons. There's no factual basis for the claim that Diddy was raided by the FBI simultaneously in California and Florida in connection to Tupac. Okay, thank you. Yeah, she said I meant in connection to Tupac. Thank you. I'm supposed to be fair as 3+ decade SW. Oh.
Daily Mail that the Daily Mail has gotten a hold of that show she and Sean Combs, Jennifer Lopez and Sean Combs.
Yeah, she was talking about in connection with Tupac, Lindsay and Need Some Z's. Because I thought she meant, because I was saying, that I had remembered it happening, but that was just recently. She's talking about in connection with Tupac.
Apparently arguing that night. So is this a publication maybe trying to make something out of possibly nothing? I mean, couples argue. You're at a party, maybe there's some alcohol flowing, things, who knows what was going on.
Couples argue all the time, and it may have nothing to do with what allegedly happened later that evening. The alleged victim wasn't even there at this Lotus nightclub. So, but obviously if Jennifer Lopez or anyone else witnessed this girl at the house, even if they didn't witness the alleged sexual contact, that corroborates her story. So that's important. And I'm sure a civil plaintiff's lawyer would want to depose Jennifer Lopez and potentially call her to the stand if the case actually goes all the way to trial. It's interesting.
And that's an interesting point. That's an interesting point you make, because we have a very specific date here. We're talking about, January 7th, 2000, January 6th, January 7th, 2000, Video Music Awards. Sean Combs is clearly there at the awards show with Jennifer Lopez, and this plaintiff describes being outside the VMAs talking to limo drivers.
Zio said, hold on just a minute. She said, Diddy and Bad Boy Records have been central to many theories about Tupac and Biggie feud. Such claims are speculative unless substantiated by official records is my only point. Yeah. She said, I do love this freaking family and the way we can flow back and forth on these cases, adults having adult conversations. Yes, exactly. I love talking to y'all. Y'all make my day. You really do. Lindsay said, right, I'm saying raids happened after Cassie's lawsuit, and once people realized, oh snap, Diddy might be in trouble, someone obviously spoke about info with Tupac. Oh, okay, I got you. And then real quick, Need Some Z said, we may never know what J-Lo knows. Maybe she knows nothing, but if she was there, I cannot see her not being called to testify at trial if it gets to that. I think she definitely will be. And I think whoever Jay-Z was with at the time will be called to testify as well.
Etc. So if you're Tony Busby, are you reaching out to Jennifer Lopez's attorneys?
I think so. And I think it was strategic in terms of how the civil complaint was pled. You have celebrity A and you have celebrity B. Obviously, you can name celebrities. There's nothing unlawful in doing so, and you're actually protected from being sued for defamation because there's a litigation privilege. So there's a strategic reason here why Busby didn't name the celebrities. He's giving them an out to settle the case and remain confidential and not be dragged into the civil lawsuit. So believe me, Busby and the plaintiff's lawyers are in direct negotiations with celebrity A and B. Of course, one of the celebrities was alleged to have participated in the rape, so he's very differently situated than a female celebrity who watched, whether it was Jennifer Lopez or someone else.
But wouldn't that person be also complicit?
Accessory, possibly. Roman Excellence. Sorry. Thank you for being here. Says, let's keep it funky. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't agree with that statement. Sorry I highlighted that. But I appreciate you being here, Roman. I need you to not say stuff like that if you don't mind. We do need to be respectful of everybody, and I appreciate it. You need to go. Elizabeth said, I need to go feed feral colonies if you guys would be on for a while. We'll be on for a little while longer. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I mean, if we want to be, accurate about things, there are 13-year-old pregnant children all over the world, not just in certain places, but just to put that out there.
If they watch the rape and they let it happen, I mean, they'd have to do something, right? There has to be a legal duty. So we're talking about the difference between criminal and civil. So obviously, if she participated in not allowing her to leave or drugging her, there has to be some action, right? Generally speaking, there's not liability based on an omission unless there's a legal duty. Now, some states do say there's a legal duty to take care of a minor if you have a relationship with them. It's unclear whether the celebrities had any relationship with this minor where they had a duty to act. But obviously, if they drugged the drink, gave her the drink, wouldn't let her leave, but just witnessing a criminal act by itself usually is not grounds for liability.
So do you think that...
Elizabeth, yes, please come back. It was fun having you here. And Elizabeth said, of course, I will remember where I saw allegedly. She is a member. Okay. Well, thank you.
Tony Busby has already reached out to Celebrity A and Celebrity B and is already in negotiations with them. And that's the reason why those people weren't sued or named in the lawsuit.
Absolutely. I think Busby and the plaintiff's lawyers are giving those celebrities a chance to settle the case and keep it confidential. Otherwise, they're going to be named in an amended complaint and they're going to be outed. And then at that point, you can't really unring that bell and everyone's going to know at least what the accusations are against those two celebrities.
That to me is pretty amazing because it's almost a little bit like a shakedown, isn't it? I mean, why not just sue them if you're after justice?
It is potentially a shakedown or extortion or a money grab, whatever you want to call it. But the leverage that Busby has is the celebrity remaining confidential and anonymous. Right? They're going to pay to get out of this. Once they're named, then they're going to have to potentially litigate the case to clear their name, right? Because they'll be convicted in the court of public opinion. So like any good lawyer, he is advocating on behalf of his client and using whatever leverage he has. And this is probably the best leverage in the case is them getting out and remaining anonymous.
Yep.
Well, it would certainly be interesting to find out who A and B are. I think we all want to know, but we may never know. May just be all left up to people making inferences and things of that nature. Nima Rahmani, thank you so much.
Thanks, Anjanette.
And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for being.
All right. Sorry about the plane. So we can watch this real quick. It's titled Feds Want P. Diddy's Defense to Reveal Secret Info in Court Documents. Oh, real quick. Well,
drama in the case of Sean Diddy.
This is one of his white parties from July 4th of 2009.
Drama in the case of Sean Diddy Combs continues as the defense.
Oh my gosh. All over the place. Here we go. So this is one of his white parties in July of 2009.
Man I worked for had one of the biggest companies in New York City. He didn't own his own company. White man.
This is from Jay.
Nobody owns me though.
Jay Blaze.
What up? It's your boy Jay Blaze at the Diddy White Party. Oh yeah, it's going down. Welcome to my life, motherfucker. I'm sipping on some rocks right now.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of party there. Okay. So I apologize, but I'm gonna delete this comment, Roman, and if you do that again, I'm gonna block you. Okay? Because I appreciate everybody's thoughts, opinions, and speculations, but now you're just being disgusting. Okay, I can say that. Roman said, "How did she get into that mansion? Was she kidnapped?" Oh no, she went voluntarily with grown men. Right, but to be fair, she was 13 years old, and I don't think that in the mind of a 13-year-old, she might not have necessarily known that was. I mean, obviously, she didn't know that was going to happen. While I don't agree with a 13-year-old trying to get into the awards show by talking to limo drivers and things like that, I don't think that she deserved what happened to her by any means whatsoever. Needs some Z's said, Diddy, Jay-Z, R. Kelly's, and others, it's all about being the number one rapper. Yeah. They're always competing for that. Lindsay said, going voluntarily with anyone doesn't give a pass for them to be assaulted. Yeah, and a 13-year-old cannot consent, said Abellis. Yeah, I agree. I don't think she should have been there, but, again, like Lindsay said, it doesn't give anybody a pass to assault her. No means no, and a 13-year-old is a child. She was 13. She was starstruck, like Cara said. These are grown men. Right. The adults in the situation are the ones that need to be held accountable, not the child. All the adults. All right.
Look at this. It's a rotating joint right here. Yeah. New York, we're in the building, right? Hey, yo.
All right. I'm not going to continue playing that, but you get the idea. That was outside. I think that's before. I think it's like after dark is when everything starts taking off. I'm choosing to play a different video, and it's titled Jay-Z's Body Language Exposes Reaction to Child Assault Allegations. This is Sidebar from Law and Crime. So we'll watch this.
Jay-Z, one of the most famous and successful rappers in the music world today, is now accused of brutally raping a 13-year-old girl at a Diddy party decades ago. This is an accusation he adamantly denies. And within hours of being named in an amended complaint, he appeared at a movie premiere with his family, a very public setting with a lot of eyeballs on him. So here's a question. What does his body language say? Any clues as to how he might be feeling? We're going to be asking an expert right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. We've been following this huge update to a civil lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, where his friend and fellow music industry titan Jay-Z, real name Sean Carter, has been publicly named as Celebrity A, the man who allegedly sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl in New York in 2000 after the VMAs. And this is part of a civil lawsuit filed by Texas attorney Tony Busby on behalf of this unnamed Jane Doe. And she says that when she was 13, she reported...
Roman, I'm sure she learned that, unfortunately, the hard way. And, again, that's between her and her parents. That's not our child. You know what I mean? The adults that allowed her to be in that situation are who needs to be held accountable, all of them, and the ones that abused her. Hey, Pinto, thank you for being here. Okay. All right now. I'm sorry, Roman. I appreciate you being here and supporting the channel, but I'm going to have to block you now because I can't with you anymore. I hope you have a nice day.
Reportedly met one of Combs' limo drivers outside of the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall in New York. She says that he invited her to an after party that Combs was throwing. The lawsuit claims that she was drugged at that party. And when she went to find somewhere to lay down, Combs and Jay-Z allegedly raped her. But I should also tell you that an, as of yet, unnamed female Celebrity B was reportedly there too, reportedly watched the assault happen and did nothing to stop it. So it becomes a question, will Celebrity B actually be a witness in this case? Has Celebrity B reached out?
I'm sorry that your blood is boiling, and Abellis, I'm sorry that you got upset. It was making me upset too. I try to be fair because I do try to allow other opinions, thoughts, and speculations. But when it becomes a possibly racial thing and just completely disgusting, I'm going to block them. But I try not to. Might be overly nice about it because I don't want anybody to feel like they can't share their opinions. But, you know, when it becomes disgusting, yeah, I've got to do something. Like Kara said, trolls are going to troll, and they are. I can't believe some people think like that either. I don't want people to feel like I block them because they are sharing a different opinion. So I try to be really careful about that. I don't like blocking people, but you know, when you're being absolutely fucking disgusting, then yeah.
Out to Tony Busby, settled any claims that he might have against her? Because Tony Busby's the attorney who's representing Jane Doe. Really, really interesting to think about there. Now, the reason this is so significant is because Tony Busby has issued a warning in the past. He has previously said that he plans to name the celebrities and the high-profile people who are involved in alleged assaults alongside Sean Combs. But this is the first A-lister to be named as a direct participant in what is essentially a crime. Now, what's interesting about this is that Jay-Z's legal team and Jay-Z are fighting back very hard. They are hitting back against these accusations, both in a public statement and in court filings. So let me tell you about this. In a statement from Rock Nation, his entertainment company, Jay-Z said the following: "My lawyer received..."
Excuse me. Lindsay said people like that will always come out of the woodwork when it's a case involving people in the music industry, hip hop especially. Some people can't see the crimes because their own love for the artist. Thank you for saying that. And that is a really great point. And like Abella said, you're right. Exactly right. Again, the first part of this says, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. And I will let him continue to read it. Kara said, is it sad that I expect victim blaming? It's sad that our society does that. And again, you have to be careful because some people do just look for money. I don't think that victim is looking for money by any stretch of the imagination. And I think everybody needs to be heard and believed until it's proven without a reasonable doubt that they were lying. I think that we need to listen and believe every victim. And then if they're proven to be lying and you can show me 100% without a doubt that that person is lying, I'll change my opinion. But people blame victims, and it is sad because a lot of people don't understand what it's like to be a victim. It's a hard thing. And unfortunately, a lot of women deal with being a victim of some kind of assault. And it really sucks, again, that our world is doing that too.
Received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, the public scrutiny, would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I've done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. I have no idea how you've come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine? Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand explicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have...
It's interesting that he brought his daughter up in this, and so maybe that is why he's so infuriated with this, because somebody, yes, this is Jay-Z speaking. Somebody had just said earlier how he could be worried about his daughter being able to look it up being that her age, what age she's at right now. And so this hearing this now makes me think that that is more of it comes into play more than I did necessarily before. Okay, I was just reading somebody else's comments real quick.
Who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me. If not for this seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. Now, his lawyers also filed legal documents demanding that Jane Doe...
Cara said, I always go to the Mr. Rogers quote that his mother told him, and that quote was, when I was a boy, I would see scary things in the news. My mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And I like that. I like that statement. Toxic said, choose your friends wisely. Abella said, Cara, wise mom. And then Need Some Z says, in my opinion, it's not about his children. It's about his money and business. Possibly. Yeah. I think all would come into play, but good point.
Identify herself, that her identity should be revealed, that she can't proceed anonymously. Otherwise, they want this lawsuit thrown out. They argue that if Jay-Z's name was released, her name needs to be too. He has a right to confront his accuser and challenge her accusations, that this has to be a level playing field. And there is also this separate back and forth where Jay-Z's lawyers claim that a woman randomly called them complaining about Tony Busby's firm, complaining that she was dropped as a client because she essentially refused to adopt a sexual assault narrative and legal strategy that Busby's firm had recommended. Now, Busby denied the accusations, even seeming to suggest that what Jay-Z and his legal team are doing and accusing him of amounts to potential defamation. You know, I actually sat down with Ben Chu, Johnny Depp's lawyer, and we broke this down a bit more. The evidence, the back and forth, I encourage everybody to check that out. But this is the first time that Jay-Z has been named in one of these civil lawsuits. But as we know, Sean Combs is facing several, many of them from...
I don't know if y'all have ever heard stories about Jay-Z, but there's some interesting ones out there. Lindsay said, I bet this is written by a PR person, and not only his PR person, but also Beyonce's. Yep. And real quick, Toxic said, here's the thing. So many have come out with these allegations. I don't think they're all lying. I don't either. Not all of them.
From Tony Busby. Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, filed her lawsuit against Combs last year, which seemed to be the spark that quickly grew into a raging wildfire of claims about misconduct. But Combs, of course, also faces criminal charges, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution. Federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York say Combs' entertainment business was actually a criminal enterprise that was focused on fulfilling his sexual desires. That's where the so-called freak-offs come in, these prolonged orgies that were held by Combs that allegedly sometimes required an IV drip to recover afterwards. Prosecutors allege that Combs had his employees hire and bring commercial sex workers to these freak-offs, where they claim he used drugs to keep female participants compliant.
And that's in a document that's going to be on As the Gavel Drops Discord. I'll have to try to grab the link and drop it in chat if I can. And we went over that in a previous live. I pulled up the document and talked about it. I'm going to work on making playlists for all the things we talked about in the lives as well. Toxic said those videos have to be really telling. They absolutely do.
His ex, Cassandra Ventura, said in her lawsuit that Combs was the director of these freak-offs, often telling her and the sex workers what to do, and filmed it. Now, Combs settled his lawsuit with Cassandra Ventura, but he always maintained he didn't do anything wrong. His criminal defense lawyers say anything sexual that happened was consensual, and they have been fighting, unsuccessfully, to get Combs released from the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where he's been since September. By the way, as we have been discussing the intricacies of the P.Diddy, Jay-Z lawsuits, examining the facts from all angles in today's media landscape, it is crucial to understand how different outlets report on such high-profile stories. But that is where Ground News comes in, because they are an invaluable resource. It allows us to compare coverage from...
Yeah, it won't let me access my live. Like, it doesn't even show me, like, on my phone right now, it won't show me that I'm live. Like, it doesn't say I'm live at all. And when I try to click on the live that we're doing right now to try to enter the chat that way so I could pin a comment, it won't let me. This is an advertisement. That's why I've got it muted. They're doing Diddy, but
by Tony Busby, and it includes the response from both Diddy and Jay-Z that they have denied the allegations. And based on every source that Ground News found reporting on this, 42% of sources are considered to be in the center, meaning they don't have a clear bias, but 39% of the coverage is coming from reportedly left-leaning sources, making this a potential blind spot for more conservative news consumers. But it's not just
okay. Need Some Z's said, personally, I do not believe that Busby would be taking on this many lawsuits accusing Diddy and Jay-Z, etc., without vetting the accusers. That would be career ending. Yep. I think so. I don't think he would do it without vetting the accusers as well. Abella, he's still doing the advertisement for Ground News. That's why it's muted. Abella said, freak offs, good grief. I mean, consenting adults is one thing, but the second they involve children, no, absolutely not. I agree. All you had to do was tell Diddy, no, many have said. Really? I didn't know that. Oh, hold on.
Jay-Z.
Back it up a smidge. Okay. I'll get it right here. All right.
Thank you to Ground News. Okay, so this brings us now to Monday, and this is just hours after that court filing. Keep that in mind. Jay-Z was on the red carpet in Los Angeles with his family. Very, very public place. Photographers everywhere. The media, the world watching him after all this. So they were there for the premiere of Disney's Mufasa. This is a Lion King.
I see her in their daughter. I see Beyonce and Jay-Z, but I think she looks more like Jay-Z. Like, I can see Beyonce in the eyes and in the color of her skin, but Jay-Z is definitely the nose, the mouth, the shape of the face even is definitely Jay-Z. That's Blue Ivy, their daughter, and evidently she was in the movie Mufasa. I haven't seen that. I need to go see it. And then Lindsay said, yeah, the first press conference, he explains what is expected of those who come forward, but that they should still come forward regardless. Yep.
Prequel starring Jay-Z's wife, Beyonce, and daughter, Blue Ivy. And by the way, Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles, was also photographed alongside this superstar family. Now, many have been analyzing these photos, trying to pinpoint how Jay-Z and his family are reacting in the wake of these awful allegations against him, while at the same time being in the public eye, right? So we thought, who can we bring in to talk about it? We know who we're going to bring in. We're going to bring in body language expert Susan Constantine to talk more about it. Susan, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate you taking the time. All right, let's start with Jay-Z. So you have looked at still photographs of him. You have looked at the video of him on the red carpet. What stands out to you?
Well, there's a couple things that stand out to me. First of all, let's just kind of put it on record. This is all staged performance, okay? All of them are used to being in front of the limelight, so you have to actually consider the context. They're used to looking at the cameras. They're used to smiling, and when they don't feel like smiling, that's part of their whole persona. So when we look at when they are entering onto the red carpet, the camaraderie that all of them have. There was a person who was leading them, telling them where they should position them, which was putting them in.
That's why I think it might be hard for a body language expert to even talk about this, because they're not being themselves right now. I put in quotation marks, alter ego, or the person they're trained to be for the red carpet and for, public appearances and things. Celebrities are performing when, like Need Some Z's said, right, celebrities are performing when doing public appearances. Yep, they absolutely are.
I'm in alignment. When I was looking at the still photo, which I thought was really kind of interesting, because I don't think this was planned for Jay-Z and for Beyonce and for Tina to be placed in the positions they were, which actually created some awkwardness, because literally you could have taken this photograph, Jesse, cut it in half with Beyonce and her daughter, and then Jay-Z and Tina. It looks like two different frames because there's two different types of body language that's going on here. In a still photo, we have to consider the context, right? And as you stated before, this was just right before all of a sudden all of these allegations came out. So oftentimes what celebrities or anyone would do is they tend to overface, meaning like, I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm going to smile and giggle and smile at everyone and appear as if I am unfazed, right? So let's just think that's one hypothesis. The other thing is that we're looking at the position of the bodies, where they are in a line. If it seems a little awkward that Tina, as being kind of the strong person that's gluing the two together, would have been placed between them, not on the other side. So the fact that she's on the far right and we're looking at their body language, you can see where Jay-Z and Tina are in rapport. You can see their right foot, look at it, right foot coming out at the same time. So that's rapport building. When you mirror someone's body language, they tend to be in rapport. Although Tina leans to the side, it's kind of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. She almost kind of looks like she's going to tip over. She has a very rigid stance when she's standing there. She's looking off to the side. She's obviously very consumed with people around her, the cameras, and all of that kind of thing.
What do you think about Beyonce's mother and her views on their relationship? I don't know if you remember, but Beyonce's sister tried to beat Jay-Z up in an elevator, and I think rumor had it because he was cheating on Beyonce, and so she put her hands on him in the elevator. So I wonder what the mom's stance in all of this is. I mean, of course she's going to be there because the movie is featuring her daughter and her granddaughter, but I question the relationship. Toxic said Blue Ivy isn't all they are touting her up to be. I think she's really pretty. I don't know much about her, but I think she's really a pretty person.
That's why I say the stage, it's not fluid. It's not something that's natural. When I look at Jay-Z, you can see his lips purse. That is a form of agitation. So when we look at that, when people purse or tighten their lips, it tells you a little bit about their cognitions, maybe that he's not really enjoying this as much as he's portraying when he was walking on. And what I'm looking for is a cluster. I see a horizontal stressor right across his forehead, and then he has his hand in his pocket. So we've got three things, which is a cluster. You would think that Jay-Z would have incorporated Beyonce into the mix by putting his arm around Beyonce's waist. We didn't see that here. So that's why I'm saying there's almost like a separation, two different frames. Beyonce, of course, alliances are with her daughter. You can see her leaning her head towards her daughter. Her daughter is out up front, is almost in a princess type of positioning. So overall, when I'm looking at this, the mannequin type of stance that Tina has, the agitation that Jay-Z is concealing. So what I mean by that, it's not an outward or expression. It's actually micro expressions of showing you what some of cognition might be. Now, what could the frustration be?
Do you guys think he looks agitated? Kara said, I think Jay-Z has a resting bitch face. Not sure if I can agree with this. He might. Kara said, dude, always looks angry. He does, but he smiles too and looks happy. I've seen him sometimes, but he might have, if you think he's got RBF, he might. Sarah said, I'm not one to talk. Jay-Z is not an attractive man, and that hair. I don't think he's very attractive. Beyonce is, but I mean, when you take into account who he is, and if you've ever heard Jaguar Wright say how him and Beyonce got together, it's a crazy story. I won't go into it because it's kind of conspiratorial, but you guys should look that up if you haven't. Neesom Z said, I mean, Jay-Z's facing Tina with his arm around her and facing away from Beyonce. I think it's pretty likely that their marriage is not very good. Probably more like a business arrangement and deal, in my opinion. Yep, and that goes back to the Jaguar Wright thing. Abella said, I lent Beyonce that dress she begged me. I bet you did. I'd love to see you in that dress. And then Toxic said he looked like he's not wanting to be there. He does. I think their marriage isn't that great and he's irritated. That's what I think.
Maybe could be the way he was placed on that stage. Could be all the cameras in front of him. So you have to consider the context of what's going on. But I think to your question is, are they united or are they not? And at this point, based on a still photo and 2 seconds of video, it really doesn't show that, we are all together as one big happy family, because it's a staged setting. And that's the part that seems inauthentic.
And
that's funny, Abellis. Need Some Z says, I think a still pic is a stupid way to try to assess someone's body language. In my opinion, everything she's saying sounds dumb. I don't know if we can assess their language through still body images, and the fact that they've got people telling them where to stand, where to look, where to be in the picture, and all of that is different to me. Beyonce always looks spaced out to me too, but I don't know if that's like because she's taking pictures right now. Like, you can't really get an accurate reading, in my opinion.
And to be clear, if it had anything to do with the lawsuit, it would be understandable. I mean, whether or not he is liable or not for these allegations, to be hit with a lawsuit like this and accused of something like this, and I've mentioned this before in a prior sidebar, he knew this was coming based on the prior conversations he had with Tony Busby's firm. It's understandable there would be a level of discomfort going on a public stage. With all this going on. I mentioned the video. Was there anything from the video that changes your analysis? You see him in a different position than just standing there. Does something from the video support your conclusion in any which way?
It doesn't support the conclusion because I see this as performance, Jesse.
Me too.
I don't see this as being in authenticity because he's not alone with his family. He's in front of a crowd. And when he's in front of a crowd, they're all performers. So I really want to put that on the table. He's used to smiling at everybody. He's used to being very charismatic and making overfacing and smiling in front of the camera. So when you look at that, you go, okay, so is this performance or is this authentic? Is he happy about being there? It appears he is. It appears he's happy about being there. This is actually an exciting time for Beyonce and their daughter. So this is a joyous occasion. But on the other hand, is it the body language of something that I would say, wow, this is authentic, fluid, natural? I feel like there's underlying emotions there and they tend to overperform on a micro level. This is what I do. I look at those more nuances. I am not a body language expert that believes that you put X plus Y equals Z because it's not grounded in research. So I always look for what we call clusters of behaviors. And I do see a cluster when it comes to Jay-Z and Tina.
Yeah, I see that. So who's Pinky and who's the brain and the power couple? Good question. That's what I mean. A still image says nothing. Yeah, I agree. Need some Z's. I think a picture speaks volumes. Do you? Do you think we could get body language from this picture, Indy? Need some Z said, I agree. It's a performance. Abella said, Beyonce is brilliant and talented, but I've seen weird things about her. I have too.
And just in the still photo and where they're placed. So I see that cluster. Other than that, we are using what we call subjective analysis, and it really is not scientifically based. So I think that, for me, I stay on the position of research. And again, X plus Y does not equal Z.
Right. Okay. We don't have to listen to all of that because we got the gist of it. I'm going to play one more video before I go for the day. So let's see. Oh, this one is where we'll play two. I'll play two short videos.
According to your lawsuit,
this is where an accuser recounts alleged assault in first ever interview. And this was on CNN and it's titled, I Was Screaming, Diddy Accuser Recounts Alleged Assault in First Ever Interview. And it's 8 minutes long. This is from CNN. It gives us a warning. It says there's going to be disturbing language. This video contains graphic descriptions of sexual violence. This is CNN. I think I'll be okay. But if I go away, I'll be right back. So we'll watch this and see what they say. Real quick. Isaiah said, we so damn judging. As a society, aren't we? We all wear masks, metaphorically speaking. We do. And it's easy to judge other people, but it's hard to judge yourself and realize what you need to do better. And I try to make sure I do that. I always try to make sure I'm realizing what I'm doing wrong and try to improve on it. Thank you for pointing that out, though.
You were high.
It was in reference to a movie or a move. Okay, well, that's my thoughts on it. Thank you for sharing.
Hired by a security firm to work security at.
Real quick, she said you were hired by a security firm to work security. Sorry.
One of the infamous white parties that was thrown by Sean Combs in the Hamptons. What was that experience like?
At first, he was incredibly friendly, very gracious.
So you had a friendly chat, and then, according to your lawsuit, at some point later in the night, Sean Combs himself offered you a drink. This didn't come from staff or someone holding a tray of drinks. It came from him directly.
Correct. The first drink started to have some effect on me. And I just thought, wow, these are really strong drinks. It wasn't until the second drink, and it was already too late, that I realized that there was something wrong with the drinks. Sadly, Sean Combs was waiting in the wings. He was watching from some sort of vantage point. And once I was in a helpless position and he was sure that he was in a position of power, then he took advantage of the situation.
You allege that you were forcibly pushed into an SUV by Sean Combs.
This is interesting. Because I don't understand why he would drug the security at the party. But putting myself in the shoes of that person, you might just initially think, wow, these are some strong alcoholic beverages. And then realize after your second one, but then it's too late that they're laced. It's crazy.
Combs. That act alone, according to your lawsuit, left you in considerable pain. And then once inside the vehicle, your lawsuit says plaintiff was held down by Combs, who overpowered him while he struggled to escape due to the effects of the drugs in his system. And it goes on to say that he sodomized you.
I was screaming. I was telling him to stop. It was incredibly painful.
Yes, I've seen the Bodyguard interview. I'd like to play it, but I might get in trouble. I'll try to play a portion of it. Toxic.
And he was acting like it was nothing. And he seemed to be disconnected from it. But it was abusive beyond belief.
It says, representatives for Combs did not comment, but at the time of the original complaint released a blanket statement regarding the complaint and others filed at the same time. Quote, Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the facts, their legal defenses, and the integrity of the judicial process. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted.
All right, CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister has been doing really amazing reporting on.
Kept that one on forever and a day. In court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman.
All right, CNN's Elizabeth Wagmeister, who's doing really amazing reporting on this subject, is here with your exclusive. What was it like to sit down with this man?
You know, John, this was the first time that he has told anyone other than his attorneys this story. He, as you see, we concealed his identity. He filed his lawsuit back in October as a John Doe. He says that he wants to keep his anonymity because he wants to keep some semblance of his life private, but that's a difficult.
It says that accuser says Combs drugged, sexually assaulted me at 2007 white party. Toxic said, I do believe Diddy did something to Bieber. I do too, among other things. Abella said, among other things is what Lindsay said. And then Abella said, what WTF is wrong with him? He's vile. Yep.
Difficult thing to do, to sit down and tell your story to a stranger as a journalist.
Yep.
So I asked him, why now? Why are you coming forward now? And he said that he did not know that there were other accusers of Sean Combs out there. He only found out from seeing news reports. And there was one report he saw that there is somebody who alleged that they were 9 years old when they say that they were abused by Sean Combs. And this John Doe that I sat down with, he said, if a 9-year-old could do it, then I could do it. And it made him feel like he wished that he spoke out before, because he could have prevented children from allegedly being abused. Now, as I said, this lawsuit was initially filed back in October of this year. So these claims are not new, but this is the first time that he sat down. In fact, John, this is the first time that any accuser of Sean Combs has sat down with the media for an interview. Now, I want to play you a bit more of what he told me about these allegations, what he says happened that night in 2007. But I do want to warn our viewers that what he says is graphic and disturbing.
I was screaming. I was telling him to stop. It was incredibly painful. And he was acting like it was nothing. And he seemed to be disconnected from it. But it was abusive beyond belief.
Now, he says that not a day has gone by where he hasn't thought about this. He said that when something like this happens to you, which is, of course, his allegation that he was drugged and sodomized by Sean Combs back in 2007, he says that it impacts every part of your life. He says
it does. I couldn't believe, I can't believe that a 9-year-old came out and spoke against it. And I'm glad that this man did too. Yeah, this poor man, says bad girl. Toxic said Corey Feldman is not afraid of Diddy, and he has some choice words about it. Yeah, it makes my stomach turn too, Indy.
That he has not been able to carry on with relationships. He says that he did not tell his wife at the time, who he was married to when this allegedly happened to him. He hasn't told family members or coworkers. And again, that is one of the big reasons why he wants to remain anonymous.
Incredible to hear him tell this story. All right, Elizabeth Wagmeister, thank you very much. Sarah.
All right, joining us now, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson to discuss more about this. All right, first of all, this is a civil lawsuit. It is not part of the criminal.
I just wanted to hear part of what they said. Let me see. What were we talking about? Because I wanted to hear some more of the accuser speaking. So we're going to see what we can pull up on that. Hold on just a minute. That's the one we just watched. There's one that gave quite a few interviews. Okay. This is going to be, it says Diddy victim from viral photos reveals identity, tells all. This is going to be a part 1. It's 29 minutes. I'm going to have to play music behind it, but I want to hear it. And I want to listen to it with you guys. This is from the Lionel. It's going to be from the Lionel B show. And let me put it on like 17, 18. And I will drop them in the description box below. Okay. So this is from the Lionel B show. Hopefully I won't get in trouble. It's titled
When I was horrible.
It's titled Diddy Victim from Viral Photos Reveals Identity and Tells All Part 1. Please give the Lionel B show a like and subscribe. And I'll add them to the description box below. I would drop it in my comment section, but I can't access my lives from my phone, which kind of sucks. Let me see if I can try to get it on here. Okay, I'm going to try to drop it.
It was horrible. It was so horrible. I can't describe how horrible it was. Everybody telling me not to speak, well, just let them reveal my face. And like I'm telling people around me, if I wanted the money, I would have been and took the money. Like they've been paying me money and I've been living like I'm broke. They got my pictures out here. Who put my pictures out here?
Oh my God. So us just trying to see, you know, validation is breaking this girl's heart. That is really hard to hear.
Now, peeps, I sat down for the most exclusive interview of 2024. We've seen her pictures all over the internet with multiple celebrities eating food off of her body when she was just a preteen.
She's a preteen there, y'all. Did y'all see that picture? The celebrities are eating food off of her body. She's just a preteen. What are we at? 48? I'm going to go to 42. Watch. Look, they're eating food off of her body right now.
With multiple celebrities eating food off.
She's a preteen in that video? Oh my God. That is crazy. Yes, preteen.
For her body when she was just a preteen.
A preteen.
We've seen her sitting in Diddy's lap in the studio when she was even younger. Now hear her story for the very...
Even younger than a preteen. Okay, I just dropped, that's the link for this YouTube channel. I'll probably drop it a few more times. Please give them a like and subscribe.
First time. We've heard stories of her abuse by famed actress Jennifer Lopez. She details her abuse by Diddy and other Hollywood elites.
That was Will Smith and Bruce Willis. Trigger warning. I forgot. Oh, take everything you hear here with a grain of salt, okay? Yeah, Diddy, I know.
We fought back tears as we sat down for her heartfelt story. Now, this is definitely an interview that you don't want to miss.
The following content is the exclusive intellectual property of The Lionel B Show. We strongly forbid any reproductions or reaction videos for the following content.
Well, I can't play it because he'll copyright strike me. He's letting me know there. So, go check it out, I guess, because I don't want to get in trouble. That just irritates me, though. Like, why not let somebody play your shit? Because it's going to get you more views. Anyway, the link is in the description box to that video. That kind of really freaking throws a wrench in everything. What was I going to... Oh, yeah, The Bodyguard. SP. Oh, I put Diddy twice. We'll try this one and watch part of it. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm going to play part of it. This is from Vlad TV. It's titled Diddy's Bodyguard, Gene Deal Full Interview. I'm going to watch the beginning just to make sure that they're not going to copyright strike. And then we'll skip it ahead a little bit. Oh, let me grab
All right, here we go. Today we are honored to welcome Gene Deal.
This is from DJ Vlad TV. Please give them a like and subscribe. I'm going to grab their link real quick and drop it in the description box, because I can do that from here. And again, it's DJ Vlad TV or Vlad TV. It's titled Diddy's Bodyguard Gene Deal Full Interview. Oh, let me go ahead and play that.
Gene did extensive security work for Bad Boy Records and was on the scene as Puffy's personal bodyguard the tragic night that Biggie was murdered.
Yep.
And in fact was the one who actually pursued the car that shot Biggie and pulled Biggie out of the car after the shooting. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Oh, it's good to be here, Vlad.
All right, I'm going to skip it forward a little bit. We'll go to right where it's mostly replayed. Bad Girl says, notice Diddy never sued him. I have. And it's a wonder why, unless he's telling the truth.
And then on Wednesday night, he had the Red Zone doing parties, what he called Daddy's house.
Mm-hmm. Right, and you were doing security for these parties.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so, and that's how you kind of got with Puff in terms of the working relationship.
Well, yeah, basically. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He needed somebody that was strong, that was going to, you know, look out for his best interest. And because he was same gang at the time, I was doing that.
Well, then in 1991, there was the Heavy D and Puff Daddy celebrity basketball game.
City College tragedy.
Right. You were doing security that night.
Yes, I was.
That day, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Now, I don't know if y'all have ever heard this story, but you should. This story is crazy. Indie Girl said he articulates well when telling the story. Abellis said someone should do a Lorena Bobbitt on Diddy. They should. Yeah, Toxic said he knows too much. Scream it louder for the folks in the back, right? All right, this is an interesting story he's about to tell. It's horrible.
From what I understand, and I've talked to a few people about this and read articles about it, that the event itself was oversold. There was all these kids who bought $20 tickets, and some of them were having trouble getting in, even the ones who had tickets.
Okay.
And then at one point, Mike Tyson shows up, LL Cool J shows up, and everyone starts going crazy and is trying to get into the building.
All right. What happened was that Puff first hired 18 of my guys to do the job for outside. That's what we did, the outside of clubs. You know, people, we did it for Tim Dog, them, all the uptown parties and everything. My crew was thorough. I had Powerful, Slick, Noah, TJ, Bunny, just dudes that was known in the city. Then I hired some correction officers and a few cops also, that you don't have problems with people online. This particular day, Puff calls me the day before we supposed to do the party, say, yo.
So the basketball game was oversold, and he's doing security for it. Neeson Z says, like BJ investigates always says, facts ain't defamation. I think if he was lying, he would have been sued already. Yep, I think so too. I like BJ investigates.
Yo, Gene, I don't need y'all to do the security outside. I got the FOIs to do it. All right. So I said, man, I just told 18 guys. He said, I just need 8. I said 8. And Slick, you know, who was, at this time I had left the same gang and went over to Slick and the Family. And I started Slick and the Family with my man because me and D Ferg and them, we was cool.
We're going to listen to this story and then I'll probably go for the day.
And everything, but they was not allowing me to get the money that I was thinking of, all the things, the picnics, the parties and everything. So they didn't allow me to, they just only wanted to pay me to do the security. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to, you know, him and Mike didn't want to break me into the fold and me put up a quarter of the money so we could do it together, so we could, you know, break down the things that I was thinking of. So I
Needsome Z said, for someone like him who knows as much as he would, speaking publicly about all this stuff is likely safer for him than staying silent. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
So I started the own group with Slick and the Family. So Slick said, don't worry about it, Gene. We just go there with the 8 guys and we just take the money and we just come back to the game room and just have fun. I said, yeah, all right, cool. So we shows up and I I see that the people was already crowded out there and it was crazy. So I finagled my way in there, me and Slick and them. I said, yo, I told Puff right then and there, I say, Puff, if they don't do a boxing one outside and get these kids off the door, somebody gonna die tonight. He said, Gene, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You just handle the stars once they come inside. So I said, yeah, all right then. So
there was kids doing security at the door in a college town, I think he said, like where there's possibly gay, people that are affiliated that fight each other and things like that. So I think that was his concern at the time.
I did a walk around. So I walked around the top of the floor, went down the steps and went in the gym, and then came across the gym, and I seen that you can go up the steps and be right there at the front door. So everybody was coming in. You seen Dougie Fresh, Red Alert, they was on the mic. People started coming in and everything. It was cool. And then when LL Cool J and Mike Tyson showed up, that shit must have went pandemonium. They must have broke through the first doors where the FOIs was and came to the door where we was inside at. And it was a glass door that they were crowded at in the glass door, and people were steady pushing the people through the door, whereas that they pushed the people so hard that the glass broke and people fell through the glass doors at the top of the stairs.
So people are falling through the glass doors at the top of the stairs because people that are wanting to get into the party are pushing them so hard because they want to get in to see all the celebrities. This thing turned bad real quick. Bad Girl said, I think Gene is one of only a few that isn't intimidated by Diddy and his people. Stand strong, Gene. I agree. Abellis agrees with Need Some Z's. He's a slime ball. And Mello's arrest warrant said, I heard that the judge granted him a laptop so he could communicate with his lawyers. Bet he reaches out to some witnesses. It's possible. I don't know. Hopefully he'll get in trouble if he does.
And when people fell through the door of the top of the store, we grabbed this girl. She was pregnant. We later found out that was Father MC's baby's mother. And she died that day with her baby inside her. And you could see that she was pregnant.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? She had to be like 6 or 7 months pregnant. So we grabbed her and helped her up. And then she ended up going downstairs when we had got her out the way. So they got trapped down the stairs. After they broke through the first glass, they got trapped downstairs through the second door because Jessica had got scared. That was Puffy partner at the time, Jessica Rosenberg. She got scared, ran downstairs with the money box and shut the door behind her. And all those people got shut down in there and got trapped.
Right, 9 people.
This was in the 90s, I think. I think he said the date at the beginning of it, but it's some kind of basketball game where people actually died.
People died that day. 29 others were injured.
9 people died that day, 29 others injured. And this is the first time Diddy got in legal trouble.
And I guess Nice and Smooth's bodyguard was one of the people that got killed.
My man, let me tell you something.
Yes, ma'am.
That dude was about 6'4". He had a white t-shirt on, I think, with khaki pants. I was over there trying to resuscitate him.
He is no stuttering, no spitting like it's facts. Yep, he's doing way better than I would be right now.
And I was like, this shit is crazy.
Very well articulated.
So
very well articulated.
It was just that crazy. That big dude died there too. So you didn't have to be a certain size. He was about 6'4", man.
Yeah, sad. A very sad day to see that much death and destruction right in front of you.
Right.
Was that the first time you'd actually seen people dying?
Nah.
Okay.
Not at all.
But in that fashion, though.
In that fashion, yeah. In that fashion.
Yeah.
I've never seen, you see people get shot. You see people, situations like that. But in that fashion, yeah, that's crazy.
They got stuck in there and trampled, and I think it might have caught on fire.
Well, 7 years later, a judge actually placed 50% of the blame on the people's deaths on the City University of New York and 50% on the promoters, which is Heavy D and Puffy and Jessica Rosenberg. But I don't think anyone actually went to prison or anything else like that over that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And because of that incident, Puffy got fired from Uptown.
Yes, he did. We put him on suicide watch.
Oh, he wanted to kill himself.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Abella said, how sad, just because useless celebrities were there. Yep. Melo's arrest warrant said you can tell this has affected him and it's disturbing. Indie Girl said, my father was like that. Maybe that's why I think he is just a good storyteller. That's really sweet.
I mean, I can imagine. I mean, you feel partially responsible for 9 people dying, including a pregnant woman, which is technically 10 if you think about it.
Yeah. I think that he was on suicide watch because he thought he lost everything.
Yeah, that too.
So he said he wasn't worried about the people that died. He was worried more about losing everything. I think it was in the 90s, maybe 1997 or 98, if I'm not mistaken.
And then you kind of separated yourself from Puffy at that point?
I separated myself from Puff. I wasn't dealing with him no more. But he still was a part of Same Gang, and D. Ferg loved him. D. Ferg had some kind of genuine love for this cat, like, we gotta look out for him, man. He talking about committing suicide, and he talking about, doing crazy shit to himself, man. We gotta watch him, man. He don't know how he gonna feed his baby. I think Tim Dog and Eddie F from Heavy D and the Boys was paying his bills or something at the time, and D. Ferg was helping him out. I was like, if that's the way you feel, let him kill himself.
Well, ultimately, him leaving Uptown allowed.
Jeed was like, I'm not dealing with it. Fuck him.
Allowed him to create Bad Boy Records, and he ended up launching that, I think, with Arista backing him.
But see, Bad Boy Records were going to be created anyway. That was with Corey Jacobs. That's the guy who, L. Lamont something, they got caught in Virginia. They was all part of Butt Naked. And this is all documented in federal records. They got 9 16-to-life sentences. And they was the money and the backing of Bad Boy Records. You understand? So that's before he even got with Arista. You know what I'm saying? So they gave him the avenue to buy the studio time, to get the money to the artists and the people that they was going to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of crews back at that time was doing.
All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Neeson Z says, okay, this was when he was, quote, fired from Uptown. Okay, I've seen Jaguar talk about Diddy getting fired. Yep. Gene knew that he was sorry only himself, not the 9 people that lost their lives. Yep. And, I think he just had enough of it. And he was like, fuck him. So this part seems to be replayed a lot. So we'll watch this part real quick. If y'all want to see the full interview, again, it's on Vlad TV and it's titled Diddy's Bodyguard, Gene Deal Full Interview. Oh, I copied the link. I'll drop it in the description box and chat.
You understand? And there's a little beef that the people who are involved, they tell guys records that they can't do. You understand? You'll do a record and here it is,
I think that's a different one. I'm hoping that's not the one from before. That should be this video here.
Not the producer, but Clyde Davis or Diddy or something. No, you can't do that record. You can't do that record. They knew that wasn't a good time to put that record out, but they knew that record would bring on a lot of controversy. That record would bring on a lot of emotions from the people because
Miller's arrest warrant said, gotta run. See y'all next time. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, love. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna be running here in just a minute as well. Neeson Z says, looked it up. This happened in 1991. Thank you.
People would automatically think, oh, he talking about Big. He talking about Tupac. Everybody thought he was talking about Tupac. Why wouldn't they? You understand? So it wasn't a good idea for streetwise to put that out there, but business-wise, it was great. Big wasn't doing that well. Big's first 6 months wasn't that well.
From what I've heard, yes.
Until he did the song with Craig Mack.
Well, right after Who Shot Ya comes out, the Dog Pound is out in New York with Snoop recording New York, New York, which originally was supposed to be an homage to New York rappers, right? Because it takes the same title as the Melly Mel song and so forth. But as they're out in Brooklyn somewhere filming this music video, and I've talked to people who heard this, you know, who were with the Dog Pound, like Trey D and Corrupt and all them. Big gets on the radio and was like, yo, New York, we looking soft out here. The Dog Pound is shooting this music video out there. We're looking soft. And then a shooting happened on the set of the music video. No one actually got hit, but you know, the actual music video set gets shot up. And then when the music video finally comes out, Snoop is like kicking over a bunch of New York buildings and stuff like that. So now the thing escalates again. Right. Do you remember that time?
I remember.
Okay, why did Biggie go on the radio and kind of escalate things?
Me and you, I couldn't answer that. I couldn't answer what the next man, why he did it. You know what I mean? It was his choice. He come on, man. When you young, dumb, and full of cum and your testosterone levels up that high, you know, you might say anything. But as you get older, you know, and if he had...
I think he escalated it to get attention.
The opportunity to have gotten older, he probably wouldn't have said it then or probably regretted that he said it.
Yeah. So my point is that the escalation is kind of, you know, between Bad Boy and Death Row is now getting a little more serious. Now there's shootings and so forth.
Right.
Okay. So Tupac is out. He's with Death Row. He's blowing up. Bad Boy is blowing up.
Right.
And then there was a situation.
All right, we'll listen to this story and then I'll go for the day.
Where Suge takes a photo with Puffy's baby mother and his son.
Right.
Tell me about that.
I don't know if it was one of the press guys, but we were out and about, and I think we were about to go in. Puff was like, yo, I'm tired, man, I'm going in. You know what I'm saying? And I was happy because, you know, once he go in, I'm done for the night. And so then, here come Wolf. Always stirring up shit with this cat. Yo, Wolf.
I think the rumor is that Tupac slept with somebody's baby mama or wife or something. So this might be that story.
Okay, and he said, yo, Puff, look at this. And he had a magazine. I think it was one of those artist press magazines. I don't know what it is, but it was from Death Row. And Suge was in the magazine with Misa, with his arms around Misa while she had Justin in her arm. And it said, the caption said, what the East Coast won't take care of, the West Coast will.
Yep.
Yo, I seen a vein come across that kid's forehead and then neck. And then he got on the phone, he was screaming and hollering. I don't know when we must have stayed out until the next morning. Then I had to be there at 9 o'clock again. You know what I'm saying? Because it was on the weekend. But he was livid. He was going crazy behind that.
Do you think that photo was the real start of the East Coast, West Coast beef?
I think that photo, what it did was, for Puff, it was no coming back from it. Because before they did hit him up, Eric B had a conversation with Suge. This is what I've heard from Chaz. Eric B and Big D and them had a conversation with Suge.
So you got to think about his image. This is going to make his image look, it's diminishing his image. Bad Girl said Faith Evans had smacks with Tupac's. Yep. Them fighting words said Indie Girl right. Toxic said Diddy's always been jealous though. Yep. And then Bad Girl said Faith tried to state she didn't know the beef between them. WTF, everybody knew. Yep. Thank you. And hey, Redacted, thank you for being here. Redacted said I think it was Biggie's woman, Faith Evans. Yep.
Suge and say, yo, you gotta tell Pac he gotta do something. He got to direct his anger towards the people that he was mad at. So he has to let the people know who's he talking about, because he can't keep saying all New York niggas is fake, phony, and faggots or whatever he was saying about New York cats. So he has to get that shit straight. So Pac did the song Hit 'Em Up and directed all the people that he was mad at. He said who he is mad at and put their names out there, because they was going to start the Death Row East Coast. You know what I'm saying? So Eric B and Big D was going to be over that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So he directed that information to them. And prior to that, they were all out here in New York, and they were trying to have a meeting to squash the shit between Big and Puff. Puff didn't want to have nothing to do with Big and
egos.
Pac, and Puff didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
Well, when Hit 'Em Up dropped, and hip hop fans can argue, but I think most people would say that is the greatest diss record of all time.
Nah, not at all.
Okay, I would say that. Like I said, people will argue. Some people say No Vaseline. Some people will say, back to back, whatever. Like, there is an argument, but it's in that conversation no matter who you talk to. How's that?
But if you want to talk about diss tracks, the GOAT, LL Cool J. He was the
also in the conversation.
He was a massive in a diss track is when you can end somebody's career.
Right.
When LL got on the track and he dissed you.
All right. Excuse me. That's going to be it for me today, because I don't want to get in trouble for playing their stuff. We'll be back tomorrow, and we will, I don't know what we'll talk about yet, but we'll find something. I'm sure I've got something in my stash. I've got several FOIA requests out, and I'm going to be getting some new information on some cases that are interesting to me and putting out videos. As soon as I get them, I should get some information on those in the next 2 weeks or so. Redacted said Hit 'Em Up. Yeah, I like that album. That was a good album. Need some Z's. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go for the day. I got to go cook dinner and get ready for the weekend. So I hope y'all have the best day ever, and I will definitely see y'all tomorrow. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for the support. I love spending time with y'all every day. That girl said, have a good one. Have a good evening, everyone. I'm going to listen to some Tupac. Yeah, I want to listen to some Tupac too. Maybe some DMX. I like DMX a lot too. But I will see y'all tomorrow. And again, thank you so much for the support. It really means so much to me. And you guys are amazing. And until tomorrow, have a good night, and I'll see you then. Bye.